Hey, everybody. Welcome to yet another goddamn edition of our favorite show, Flash Fries.
Speak for yourself, TJ.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is one of the more painful parts of our shooting
I know.
week.
And someone I remember I was reading on the I think it might have been the subreddit or maybe it was a comment section. I don't remember where the fuck
A hive
it was.
of scum and villainy.
Yes, but someone was like, "I can't believe they don't love Flash Fried like we do." Like, really? I don't know.
Ugh.
Is
Speak
it
for
really that hard to
yourselves,
understand?
guys. I love Flash Fried. The world's in a great state.
Yeah, it's always fun. Anyway, we got a lot, so we'll get right to it.
Let's dive on in.
So here's I wanted to open with a story that pisses me off about my chosen candidate.
Yippee skippy.
Sanders apologizes to Biden for surrogates critique.
I would just like to take a moment here, while my campaign is gaining momentum, to suck the saggy old balls of Joe Biden. My friend.
Like, what are you doing, Bernie?
Yeah.
Why?
So the opinion piece by Zephyr Teachout accused Joe Biden of having a big corruption problem.
Which he does.
I've never met anyone named Zephyr Teachout, so that's definitely a first for me.
Yeah, dude, Zephyr Teachout.
I haven't met them clearly, but just that's a unique name.
Biden does have a giant corruption problem.
Yeah, so I'll read a couple paragraphs out of here to kind of give us a little bit of a basis. Senator Bernie Sanders apologized to Joseph R. Biden Jr. on why are you using like we know who Joe Biden is. You don't need to do all this Joseph R. Biden Jr. bullshit.
If they hadn't put the junior part, we'd have been like, huh?
On Monday, after Sanders' campaign surrogate wrote an opinion article accusing the former vice president of having a big corruption problem.
He does.
Mr. Sanders distanced himself from the piece by Zephyr Teachout, an associate professor at Fordham Law School, former New York political candidate and longtime supporter of Mr. Sanders. The op-ed, published on Monday in The Guardian, argued that Mr. Biden represents the transactional, grossly corrupt culture in Washington that long precedes Trump.
Correct.
So that's what Bernie's
like, no,
that's what Bernie disagrees with?
Oops.
Isn't that central to Bernie's campaign?
No, apparently not. It is absolutely not my view that Joe is corrupt in any way.
The fuck
and I'm
outta
sorry
here.
that op-ed appeared.
Let's be real. Why this happened was the DNC went to fucking Bernie's campaign and is like, nope, you got to say Joe's not corrupt. And obviously Bernie's under the auspices of what he's doing. The only way he's going to fucking run is he has to run with the DNC. In a sense, they have to nominate him to be president. So
I think it's a little simpler than that. I don't even know that the DNC had to get involved in this one. I think
they've already been involved. They've already been attacking Bernie in the media. I don't agree with you at all. Then.
Well, no, I don't think it was I don't think the DNC is who pressured Bernie to say this. I think it was just the simple fact of his campaign looking at the 21% or so of Joe Biden supporters and being like, we want that. So
you think it's just I mean, that's probably a factor in it as well. But I mean, I don't think he's doing himself any favors within his base of support because you're a Bernie supporter, but this move to you is like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like I saw, Kyle Kalinske, who could not be further up Bernie Sanders' ass. No insult intended there.
Insult intended, clearly, TJ.
Was
little pot shot at Kyle.
Highly critical as that. No, it was not.
Clearly was.
And Humanist Report, another big Bernie Sanders supporter online. Similar feelings, just kind of like, oh, this is repugnant. Why are you doing this?
Because is there any way?
Michael Tracy, a lot of people I follow on Twitter.
Does anyone sitting here believe that Bernie actually believes what he said?
No.
Okay, then then he shouldn't have said it.
I don't buy. I mean, first of all, Joe Biden is corrupt. There's no doubt about that in my fucking mind.
I mean, I know we love to talk about Trump and the Ukraine, but what about with Biden? Biden oversaw $1 billion was going to go to the Ukraine, and his son sat on the board of an oil company, made $83,000 a month, but that's not corruption.
But see, you're not allowed to talk about that because that's a Trump talking point.
So what if Trump is right?
It's automatically bad.
I don't care.
Trump can't be right,
if
Scotty.
Trump is
that's
right
the
about
first
something,
rule is Trump's never right.
Trump's wrong about everything, Scotty.
He's not. He's not.
Yes, he is, Scotty.
He's not.
Then you're a Trump supporter.
You're a
Trump supporter.
You're a right
Trump supporter.
Racist, homophobe, xenophobe.
Scotty's a Trump supporter. You heard him. He said that
Scotty?
Trump is right.
Oh, you know what,
He's right
Scotty?
about this.
You sit tight, buddy. You sit the fuck tight.
Oh, yeah. We got
sitting
something
tight.
for you, Trump supporter. TJ's going to go get you your MAGA hat, I bet.
I'm not a Trump supporter, though.
That's what you need.
I'm just saying that Joe Biden is clearly corrupt.
That's what Trump says, though.
Yeah, and Trump's right.
Trump's wrong about everything. Everything he says is a lie.
What is this schoolyard bullshit?
Everything
Trump
says
said
is
it.
a lie.
There you go, Scotty.
Thanks, TJ.
There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wear that crown of shit upon your liar's chair.
You're probably gonna break this chair by doing that. This piece of shit fucking chair is gonna collapse. I'm gonna be impaled on it where I'm gonna be found dead with
Dude,
a
I'm
MAGA
so
hat on.
scared that the bottom of this chair is going to break and cornhole me. I just feel like one day it's going to happen.
No, Joe Biden is clearly corrupt. Bernie Sanders knows that Joe Biden is corrupt. And let me just play an ad that even just cements that further, because this is an ad that literally came out the same day that Bernie Sanders defended Joe Biden against one of his surrogates' accusations of corruption, or just merely stating the fact that Joe Biden is fucking corrupt, if we're honest.
Oh, 100%.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Well, we've got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand benefits.
So where do you think Joe Biden came across this anti-Social Security fucking position? Could it be moneyed interest coming to him and saying, oh, we don't like this?
Yeah, you can't raise taxes on us, so you better stop spending.
What fucking... well, dude, Joe Biden was funded by a bunch of credit card companies. They gave him a ton of money. That's why he also pushed through his Bankruptcy Act to make it harder for people to declare bankruptcy. From what debt? Well, what debt do people commonly... Oh, it's credit cards, because they get medical bills, and they put them on credit cards, and they can't pay them.
So let me ask you this. If a powerful moneyed interest comes to you and says, hey, here's some money, this is your new position, and you take that position, is that not corruption?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially, and Bernie Sanders has called this a system of legalized bribery. So how the
because it
fuck are
is.
you going to draw the line at the word corruption?
You know what bribery...
Like, that's the problem.
You know what bribery has to be in this country at this point? If you want to be busted for being corrupt, it's literally going to have to be something like you plainly taking money for to do something. So it's like you have to promise something. You can't. So like what they're doing is just saying, "Oh yeah, I agree with your position. Your position has swayed me." So it's not corruption, TJ, because they've been swayed over to this new position.
Oh yeah. And
Well, a big part of the game when it
so-
comes to like smaller, like national level politicians that aren't necessarily in the media spotlight is courting them with job offers after they're sent, so you
Oh,
can come
yeah.
and work for us, lobbying this body. And so they don't even really. There's no real monetary exchange. Just a promise of a lucrative job as soon as their term is up.
And it happens all the time. I mean, look what happened to Bill Clinton. He was fucking hugely in debt, and then he gets paid like $500,000, $250,000, $100,000 to speak at some fucking, goddamn credit card convention or whatever. It's just a kickback.
Well,
It's
that's
the same
another
thing.
thing too. Is like these politicians fly all over the fucking world and give speeches at corporate events. How do you think they're taken care of? Do you think they're staying at the Motel 6? Do you think they're coming out of pocket for their fucking suite? Hell fucking no. It's like a little mini vacation for them. Yeah, you come do a speech and then spend the rest of the week in fucking Vienna at our expense.
Look at fucking the house Obama just bought. Look at these fucking where all these politicians who are in the fucking positions of power live now. They fucking live in fucking goddamn grandeur. It's a joke.
Well, let me
If
ask you
people
this,
aren't
though.
corrupt. There obviously are.
So let me ask you this. Doesn't this ad, in so many words, already kind of say Joe Biden is corrupt? Just without using the word? So what is the point of backing down on that?
See, I see people saying that, like, oh, Bernie's trying to run a clean campaign. He's trying to not go low. He's trying to
That's
keep
not
it.
low.
That's what I'm saying. It's
It's
like, this
on
is
it, like-
not a personal attack against Joe Biden.
Joe
This
Biden is a rapist or something. That's low.
or Joe Biden, abuses his wife or whatever it is. This is literally like Joe Biden is a career politician who has undoubtedly done this transaction of money or favors or trips or promises in exchange for votes probably thousands of times in his career.
Yeah, and also kickbacks for people that are in his social circle.
This is like Bernie. This is one of the central strengths of Bernie's campaign. And he can't help but undermine himself by not calling out the people up on the stage that are clearly sold out
Yeah, it's like
100%.
constantly throwing his arm around these people, going, "These are my friends."
Joe Biden is a friend of mine. I love Joe. I think Joe's a great guy. An example to us all, a shining beacon.
it's like, shut up. No, he's not.
he's
Fuck
not.
it. Fuck. Don't do that.
You
I
know,
don't
and
care.
he doesn't even
maybe
need-
Bernie, maybe Joe Biden on a one-on-one level is a real agreeable fella, and that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact
When it comes to running the country, he's everything that you run against.
right. So
He's
own
money
that.
in politics. He's a bought-out corporate interest in politics. And if you don't start calling out the people around you for that, see, the only person that Bernie will call out like that is Trump.
Right.
As if Trump
Well,
is
you know,
the
he'll-
font from which all corruption emanates.
He'll call it
no.
out. He'll call it out on the Democratic side, but never by name.
Right.
It's always like, and a lot of Democrats are bought out. It's like, no, not you can't.
Yeah.
When you're competing
You have to
against
be
that
fucking
person.
specific, especially when you're running against this fucking guy. Don't fucking shut up your if you want to say, like, if Bernie didn't want to touch the corruption thing, it would have been much better for him to say, look, that's an opinion of this person. It doesn't necessarily reflect what I think, but
if you
Joe
listen-
Biden, he could have pivoted to the criticisms he's actually comfortable making of Joe Biden. Because my understanding is Bernie wants to run this clean campaign, but he's got these surrogates out there who are willing to go a little further than him in terms of their rhetoric, so that it's not him that's saying it, which is a pretty common fucking
But it
political
creates
tactic.
this horrible political moment where fucking Bernie
But you don't-
Sanders, at a time
but
when
you
he's really
cannot
trying to
go-
win points from Joe, has to basically fucking give Joe cover for shit that he's done for no political benefit.
Bernie Sanders never should have fucking walked back something one of his surrogates said. At most, you could say,
well,
look,
I mean,
that's
it
their
depends
opinion
on what
and
he
they're
said.
entitled to it. But
Yeah, if he said some fucking horrible, ridiculous
if
thing.
he said something demonstrably false or just ridiculous, then sure.
Joe Biden raped a woman in 1982.
Something like that.
Then I could totally see Bernie being like, look,
Unless
that's
there was a lot of evidence that he raped a woman.
well,
in
yeah, I mean,
1982.
like assuming that there's not.
Look at this ad. Look at this ad. What did this ad? Joe Biden made those statements. Joe Biden, everything that Joe Biden's been called on, Joe Biden did, and it's obvious that's what happened.
took
Joe,
him out of context.
Yeah,
Got
Joe Biden.
They took
It was,
crazy
was
Uncle
essentially
Joe out of
was
context.
essentially a fucking goddamn Republican when he's making statements like, "Let's cut all these fucking social programs."
I tried to do it
How-
once. I tried to do it
Yeah.
twice. I tried to do it 3 times.
he's
I tried to do
basically-
it 4 times.
He's arguing for the antithesis of what a campaign like Bernie's is about. So
And you know
to
what?
say Joe Biden's not corrupt is just there's no way.
You know what
Bernie
Joe
believes
Biden?
that.
You know what Joe Biden's saying now? He's saying that his entire career, his 40-year career, he's not only has he fought to preserve Social Security, but he's tried to expand it.
Well, here's the thing. When he says cut it, that's the argument he's going to make. Well, I'm preserving it because, see, if we make these cuts, it'll last longer.
Oh, it's gonna save it.
It's going to save it.
And on Tim Russert, he really lays it out, like to the point where you can't even deny it. Like, you watch that Tim Russert interview with Joe Biden.
I haven't seen it.
He just completely lays out exactly what you just said. That's the case he's trying to make.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
But now he's trying to say, because that position is now completely untenable, now all of a sudden he never held it.
well, no what? Look, people like that as a talking point, but in point of fact, a bunch of Trump supporters are on Social Security. They don't want that shit cut. And a bunch of I don't think there's anyone on the Democratic side that wants to cut it. At least, maybe they do want to cut it, but they're going to at least pay lip service and say, no, we want to expand it. We want to protect it.
So anyway, CNN poll, Bernie Sanders surges to join Biden, a top Democrat. No, he passed Biden.
Yeah, it looks like the blue line is over the red line in that graph that you're
Okay, so
showing.
look, overall, 27% of registered voters who are Democrat or Democrat-leaning independents back Sanders, while 24% favor Biden. So you want
okay,
so
well,
like,
it's within the polls margin
it
of
is
error.
in the polls margin of error. But you know what? When Hillary Clinton was beating Trump
Hillary
in
atop
the
the field.
polls, in the polls margin of error, it's like 99% chance Hillary, y'all. Oh, Hillary's got it. Hillary's dominant. It was so this thing of like all of a sudden they care about the margin of error is a convenient fucking cop out, but it is within the margin of error. Okay, so they are in a fucking dead heat. There was another poll that was released today that showed Biden on top. So obviously you got lots of different polls and all this other stuff. CNN clearly fucking despises Bernie Sanders, and they're the ones who did this poll. So they're obviously not going to be tilting the scales for Bernie.
Let's be honest, TJ. The fucking DNC. Where'd the fucking first thing about the sexist smear about Bernie come out?
CNN.
There you go. That's why you get headlines like this where he joins Biden.
Oh, he joined him.
So, but that still
If
implies.
Let me ask you this: if the script was flipped and Biden was at 27 and Bernie was at 24, would we be talking about how
No.
they're
Biden tops Bernie.
Yeah.
Biden continues to hold lead over Bernie Sanders in Iowa poll.
And it'd be like, well, you can note that it is within the margin error, but it looks like Biden is ascendant.
Well, this is a national poll. This is not an Iowa poll.
Oh, it's not. Okay, excuse me.
This is a national poll.
So it's a national poll.
Just making that clear.
Gotcha.
But there's some stuff for Bernie that in this poll that doesn't look that great as well. Like a lot of people were asked, like, who has the best chance of beating Trump, and Biden's up on that. Who has the best chance of unifying the party? Biden is leading in that one. So as far as like people's personal preference goes, it seems like Bernie's starting to pull ahead, but a lot of people still have these notions in their head that Biden is the unifier and that he's the one who's going to galvanize the party against Trump and all this other stuff.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Which, and the reality is if you fucking put Biden up there, a lot of people like me are just not going to show up to the fucking, the party. So, not that it matters since I live in fucking bumfuck Louisiana. But anyway, that's an interesting thing. But this is fun. Nobody likes him. Hillary Clinton reignites feud with Bernie.
Does she even know who the fuck she is?
Apparently not.
Nobody likes Bernie coming out of the mouth of Hillary Clinton.
Okay, so
is this an Onion article?
No, sadly not. Let's just read the fucking quote here.
Oh, did I call this projection on Twitter, dude? This is projection personified. With
He
Hillary.
was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. Clinton said he was a career politician. It's all just baloney. And I feel so bad that people got suckered into it.
You know who said that too? That's a Republican talking point. How is Hillary not a fucking Republican?
She is.
I mean, because she fucking is. She just said the fucking talking point I've heard used against Bernie. Bernie's a do-nothing. When he was in Congress, he did nothing. When he was in the Senate, he did nothing.
Dude, the fucking mainstream Democrats of today would be moderate Republicans 40 or 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah. No, undoubtedly.
So there's no doubt in my mind that we're looking at a fucking Republican talking point coming out of somebody that we consider to be a major Democratic leader. It's like there's no choice. There's no choice anymore.
You know, you have
But
Hillary
Secretary
come
Clinton,
out,
as you know, said that.
Sorry, that's for later.
Yeah, you have Hillary come out and attack Bernie. You have the fucking goddamn you have Warren come out and attack Bernie. You have the New York Times. Oh, well, we're gonna get to that later. You have all these things in the media that's like just continuously, like everything I read about Bernie, even if it starts off like, well, Bernie's a good guy, it ends with just like, we really just need a woman president. Or Bernie's just, he's too crazy, he's too out there, he's too radical. And we just see this time and time again, these stupid fucking talking points come out of these people who are supposedly liberals and progressives. And then you have something like this. Nobody likes him. Where's this, the schoolyard now? Nobody likes Bernie. Everyone likes me, Hillary. No one likes Hillary fucking Clinton. You know what the best evidence of that is, Hillary? You fucking got beat by an orange buffoon. So fuck you. What the fuck do you know about this shit? You got beat by Obama, and then you got beat by fucking Trump. What do you have to fucking say for yourself? You're not a fucking goddamn progressive. At least Obama sold out. What the fuck did you do? You just fucking showed up and like, where's my paycheck? I'm president now, right? Oh, the glass ceiling. You know what? The glass ceiling's intact for you, isn't it? Fuck this woman, man. I'm so fucking sick of her. She's
And I mean, like,
go away. Go fucking die.
On top of everything Scotty just said, she's just wrong. I mean, like, poll after poll shows Bernie Sanders is, bar none, the most popular politician in this country. He's the most well-liked.
I went on Twitter, and I fucking posted a Gallup poll from July 2019. It showed the favorability of Democratic candidates within the Democratic Party. You know who's number one? Bernie fucking Sanders. So who's this? Nobody likes him. Nobody likes you,
I mean, let's
Hillary.
be clear. When she says nobody likes him, she means nobody within the political establishment likes him. Which I don't even think that's true. But even if it was, like, do you really think ordinary Americans give a fuck about who the fucking Democrats in Washington approve of?
No.
Like,
that's actually a good sign to me about him as a politician because the entrenched fucking ticks that are currently serving in the higher posts in the DNC all fucking suck, and I don't want them to like him.
And you know what? Here's another thing.
Trench sticks,
Is like, this just goes to show you. And by the way, she also said that she wouldn't campaign for him if he won the nomination.
Well, way to be gregarious.
Yeah, I mean, like, first of all, no one wants that anyway, so thank you for your. I mean, like it's probably one of the most glowing endorsements Bernie could get.
Not
is
to
an
mention,
attack from Hillary.
doesn't that prove how much of a fucking bigger person?
But you know what?
Than Bernie is
think
than
about
Hillary?
this. Think about this. Now, I don't like these decisions by Bernie Sanders, but think about them as in terms of capitulating to fucking Hillary. He conceded the nomination smoothly and easily, which he didn't have to do. There was fucking ways he could
Campaigned
have
for her.
contested that. He campaigned. He did 37 fucking campaign stops for this woman.
With her. I mean, he went on, not every time, but a lot of times he went on stage with
No,
Hillary.
a lot of times he was sent to states that her ass couldn't even be bothered to go to try to campaign for her. So not only that, remember, even when they were opponents, he fucking dropped the email thing against her. He could have used that as a line of attack, but instead he's like, no one cares about your damn emails.
Right.
And I see him doing the same thing with Joe Biden right now. And how'd it work out with Hillary, Bernie? How's that working out? Oh, look, she seems so gracious towards you now.
We're going to get another DNC.
You really made sure that bridge stayed in place, huh, Bernie?
With
all that
you realize you've got
capitulation and
like
ass
this,
kissing.
you've got a huge chance of watching another fucking nomination where Bernie stands up and gives a speech for fucking
Listen,
Joe Biden.
Joe is the greatest, and I've always
It's about
believed-
unifying the
country. And right now, the best thing that we can do is to support my friend Joe.
No, it's not. It's
like,
fucking not.
See, this is just that's the thing that pisses me off the most about Bernie by far.
Me too.
I hate that fucking
It's the reason.
side of him.
It's
I
a
hate
reason
it.
I cannot support him.
It's not a deal breaker for me the way it is for you, but it really bothers me. It really fucking bothers me. And this is what you get, Bernie. This is what you fucking get when you capitulate to these people. This is what you get when you try to hold out the olive branch and
They
form
bite
a
your
fucking
fucking
coalition
ass.
with the you can't have a coalition with this lizard cunt.
They come around when you're in the most need of support and take little fucking pot shots at you. This is what happens when you suck their asses.
So stop. Stop.
When it comes to Clinton, too, this is just the sourest of grapes.
Oh, my
coming
God,
out.
fuck
She is
her.
just so.
It's the Bernie bros.
It was
that suck me.
Bernie. It was Russia.
Yeah, because she
It was everything but me.
Because she fucking blames the Bernie bros for her loss. If everyone, this is basically what Hillary's saying. If everyone just got out of my way, if I run unopposed for the highest office in all of the lands, then I would have won. I mean, what fucking planet do you live on? We're supposed to have a thriving fucking republic. We're supposed to have a thriving democracy where people like have an exchange of ideas, and what you're saying is my way or the fucking highway. What is this?
She's just an old, sour politician who's increasingly out of touch with what used to be her base. And she wants to blame everybody else for that, when the truth is she lost to the fattest, dumbest, oldest, stupidest fucking politician that's ever been put at the masthead of a fucking party. And she lost to him fair and square, according to our system. She wasn't able to generate the excitement in the places she needed to beat the stupidest fuck that's ever been put up to be the president of the United States. That's the truth about her.
So let's look at a few notable reactions to this this event. So first I want to look at Tulsi because the thing that she says in this interview, there's a specific comment she makes that was totally my first reaction when I heard this fucking thing break.
All right.
It's time to grow up. You know, this isn't high school.
Let me play that again because it was a little low.
Look, it's time to grow up. You know, this isn't high school.
Yeah. That high school comment, it totally felt like fucking high school to me. Because what kind of insult for two grown people is nobody likes you?
yeah.
I'm sure it's even high school. That sounds like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, it really sounds like fucking kindergarten.
No one likes you, TJ.
You're a poo-poo head and nobody likes you.
Oh my God, that Bernie kid is such a freak. Nobody likes him. It's like so sad. Look at him. He's just like nobody even cares.
That like hunched over jealous cock.
Yeah, if he died tomorrow, like literally nobody would care. You'd be like, Bernie who? You know what I mean? Ugh.
I bet even like his parents would probably like.
Yeah, they'd probably just bury him in the backyard in an unmarked grave and forget he ever existed.
I bet they'd throw him in the trash.
And then the trash guys would see it and not even call the cops because they're like, it's just Bernie. It's that Bernie kid. Who cares? Take him to the dump.
She then just pivots to like, yeah, I'm the greatest.
You're not. Drop out.
Yeah, and look at
drop out, Tulsi.
I mean, like the fact that you're giving this speech in front of a fucking Tulsi van.
Yeah,
not a bus, a van. Kind of shows you were not a
look,
serious contender. So
Bernie got a bus, dude.
Yeah, he's got a bus.
Bernie's got a bus. Biden got a bus.
Delaney has a bus.
He needs to run
Delaney.
around the Oscar Mayer wiener.
Dude, I cannot. I cannot.
Delaney has a bus. I repeat, Delaney has a bus.
Dude, I cannot wait because it's an upcoming episode. I cannot wait for people to hear about the sad desperation of the Delaney campaign.
She's got a van that looks like in an alternate universe it has free candy written on the side of it. All right, you're not a contender. Get out of here.
I will say it looks like a good paint job around.
I mean, yeah, it's a nice van. You know what? Tulsi had her little shot to make a fucking splash. I like Tulsi all right. She's got a lot of policies I agree with. I agree with her like ending all these foreign adventures and stopping with the imperialism and shit. I think that's a great idea. But she ain't got a chance.
You
Drop
lose,
out.
Tulsi.
Go on.
You lost.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
I don't know why you gave up your congressional seat for this, but
it was a stupid idea.
That was a bad idea. I think maybe I think she has senatorial ambitions is why she did that. That's what I'm hearing from people. Then of course the people who want to smear her kind of say she's angling for a Fox News, but you don't have to angle for that. They'd give her that anyway. If she wanted that, she could already have that.
Oh, yeah.
She'd have
100%.
it. She'd have it.
So Trump also reacted. Trump responds to Clinton's comments against Sanders. Nobody likes her.
Yes.
This is why Hillary lost. He's not even really involved in sniping at these people much anymore, but he still gets one up on Hillary Clinton.
Dude, if there's one that I love about the Hillary-Trump dynamic, it's how Trump always comes out on top of Hillary.
He's like the idiot that always makes good.
No.
He's like Jerry to her Tom, dude.
Yep.
President Trump says nobody likes Hillary Clinton, turning the former Secretary of State's comment about Bernie Sanders against her. When Hillary says nobody likes him, nobody likes her. That's why she lost. Nobody liked her. The president told Fox Business Network.
Dude, when this election went on,
listen, he goes on. She had every advantage. She had this big machine behind her, and it wasn't even close. It was actually pretty close. She's the one that people don't like. If I had my choice in terms of personality, I might take him over her. I probably wouldn't take neither. I probably would take neither. Sorry.
of course.
I mean,
Trump is the sickest burns ever, dude. Especially
listen,
against
she
Hillary.
had the whole machine behind her. Nobody liked her.
Well, dude, remember, when this election went on, we were living in fucking Bellevue, Washington, a bastion of liberal fucking goddamn thought.
I didn't see a Hillary sign.
And, we saw, one or two Hillary stickers or, bumper stickers the entire time. I remember I was looking for them. I'm like, where's all the fucking signs and shit? And it's like, there's no signs. No one gave a fuck about Hillary. It was just like, either they just assumed Hillary was going to win, or there's some lukewarm supporters. We saw the fucking goddamn campaign rallies. Hillary this is what happened. Hillary thought this was a fucking layup. She thought she was just going to go in there, yep, I'm president. And when it wasn't, she just didn't know what the fuck to do. She just thought, I'm running against Donald Trump. How can I lose this shit? And she just managed to do it.
Yeah, well, you can tell she didn't settle on, wow, I need to examine myself. She definitely blamed literally everybody else in the world for her woes.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, good job, Grandpa Trump. Give him a slice of chocolate cake for that one.
Trump still dunking on Hillary after all this time.
I know.
Oh my God, it's so great.
So let's see how
gets old.
Let's see how the man himself responded. He was cornered as he was at the impeachment stuff in Washington, as his oath requires of him and all that bullshit. And so reporters didn't want to ask him about the impeachment. They didn't give a shit because they know really America doesn't give a shit, and it's a total debacle. And by the way, there's no impeachment stories on today's show because who gives a fuck?
Well, we already know Trump is not being impeached anyway.
Yeah, so it's like whatever, foregone conclusion.
If
he fucking gets removed from office, then we'll cover that obviously. But 100%. That's not going to happen. So, but anyway, so of course the only thing any of these reporters wanted to talk to Bernie about was the Hillary thing. So let's see how he's handling that.
Secretary Clinton, as you know, said that as a senator you got nothing done and that no one likes you. What's your response to that?
On a good day, my wife likes me. So let's clear the air on that one. Look, right now, today, I am dealing with impeachment. We are very proud that the American College of Physicians has just come on board for Medicare for All. Thousands of doctors did an open letter to the New York Times on Medicare for All. And right now what my focus is on is, outside of the impeachment trial, is doing everything I can to defeat the most dangerous president in modern American history.
Which is what you're doing in the
That is
impeachment
not-
trial,
that's
too.
really about all that.
But
So you're
Senator,
basically-
one of the things Secretary Clinton said was about your supporters and criticizing them.
All
for
right,
going
look.
after your
Secretary
opponents.
Clinton is entitled to, her point of view. My job today is to focus on the impeachment trial. My job today is to put together a team that can defeat the most dangerous president in the history of the United States of America.
Why do you think the Secretary is still talking about 2016?
That is a good question. Ask him.
I love that response, but the first two just like, whatever. I ain't focused on that. I'm
Mitch
doing this other
McConnell,
thing.
the Senate Majority Leader, says,
Fuck this. This doesn't matter. So what do you make of that? He doesn't really seem like he's too keen to go relive 2016 and get into the mud with Hillary. Even.
I don't really think he benefits at all from it, so I don't blame him. Like this,
Yeah, I mean, she's not a candidate,
Yeah,
so
fuck
this
it.
is one of those times where Bernie's like, non-confrontational style works well, because he basically just diffused the whole thing and pivoted to, things he considers to be more important. And because it's such a weak, limp-wristed attack, that's all you got to do, really. Like, so he doesn't have to sling mud.
So you think he was in this instance he was right to just shrug it off and be like,
Yeah. Because Hillary's a nobody in this fucking campaign. Her fucking opinion matters less and less every day, and I don't think he gains anything by jumping back into the fucking ring with her.
No, she's not running, so whatever.
I do think it's funny that Trump has a stronger reaction than Bernie.
Well, dude, there's no way Donald Trump's going to pass up an opportunity to shit on Hillary Clinton. Come
Right.
on.
I mean, Bernie would never say, "Well, nobody likes her." You know what I mean? It would just that's just not.
It's not his style.
Trump ain't got no problem doing that.
Speaking of Clinton, Tulsi Gabbard is suing Clinton for defamation over Russian asset comments. Rep. Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii is suing Hillary Clinton for defamation over the former Secretary of State's remarks on a podcast characterizing the Democratic presidential candidate as a Russian asset. Gabbard filed a defamation lawsuit Wednesday in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. Gabbard's lawyers allege that Clinton's comments have smeared Gabbard's political and personal reputation. Tulsi Gabbard is a loyal American civil servant who has also dedicated her life to protecting the safety of all Americans, Gabbard lawyer Brian Dunn said in a statement. Now, my opinion of this, publicity stunt.
Of course.
Total publicity stunt, because there's just, do I think Clinton's comments about towards Gabbard were ridiculous? I do.
Yeah.
Do I think they meet the fucking criteria for defamation? I don't. Because first of all, Hillary made sure to not mention Gabbard by name as she was talking about it. It was clear she was talking about Gabbard, but she never actually mentioned her by name, so there's that level of ambiguity there. But more than that, she didn't ever say that she was overtly working for Russia. The statement could be interpreted as, well, Russia is propping her up because they want her to win. That doesn't necessarily connote that she's compliant with that plot. And another thing is just the standard for defamation in America is super high. You can't just prove that someone lied about you in this country. You have to prove that they knowingly lied about you.
And maliciously.
Yeah, so they'd have to knowingly and maliciously be lying about you. Now, I think that if there was proof, you're not going to prove that in this case.
No.
So
I'm with you, though. I don't think that this is about actually winning. This is about getting her name back in the fucking papers.
Yes, and this is about showing her in a very public way taking on
The
Hillary
establishment.
Clinton, because
Right.
it does seem to be part of Tulsi's sort of
I mean,
scheme or
look
plan
what's
to
in front
run
of you.
against Hillary Clinton, even though Hillary's not running.
if you don't see anything else on the screen, to know that your position, I believe, is correct, is 27,456 shares from this one article by The Hill.
Oh, it's trending on Twitter as well.
So, I mean, trending on Twitter, so, yeah, you're 100% right, and it's actually been effective, so you can't really, I guess, blame her in that sense.
It looks like it's the number 2 most popular story on The Hill today. I don't know how many people are reading this, but I mean, it's trending on Twitter,
We hadn't
obviously
heard-
being shared here. It's obviously being shared in other places
I hadn't
as
heard
well.
anything from Tulsi in a while, honestly.
So yeah, this is probably
Puts her name back in the media.
This is a clever way of getting her name back in the headlines and getting it back in a way that says, "Hey, I'm defying the Clinton machine." So all of you anti-establishment people, be impressed.
Right.
But I don't think there's a legitimate case for defamation here. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe there's something I don't know. I'm not claiming to be some sort of legal expert. Let's move on to some non-political stories for a little while. We're going to return to the politics a little later in the show. So this is a big thing that a lot of people are wringing their hands about right now, this coronavirus.
The latest bird flu.
Yes.
The latest swine flu.
The latest SARS,
H1N1.
H1N1. Every once in a while, just when you forget the fear-mongering over the last potential pandemic, they find a new one to wring their hands over. So coronavirus death toll doubles to 17 as more than 470 cases of mutating bug confirmed.
And I was actually reading something about this earlier too that said that there are people that believe that China is vastly underrepresenting the amount of people that have died from this.
That's very possible.
So and China is of course a regime that has been known to do that.
I mean, just look at the level of precautions they're taking there. So
right.
It's believable that maybe this is a little bit more.
One of the articles you polled previously, it was talking about they were shutting down transportation in that part of China. It's like Wuhan, China.
Yeah. That's the cities. That city is basically on lockdown right now.
I mean, well, look, if you research anything about pandemics, and there's a thing on Netflix called that Vox does with Netflix is called. They did one on pandemics, and it basically explains if you talk to the leading researchers in the world on this issue, it's not a question of if. It's not like is this going to happen? It's when is this going to happen?
Right.
And this could be it, but we don't know.
Yeah, but we're always kind of hyping the new disease, so it's almost like.
Well, actually, look, I went on Google search trends and I looked into this, and the state that searched the most for this was Everett, Washington, where the guy was actually the first confirmed U.S. case.
Well, of course they're going to be.
And what else
there.
people were searching for? The movie Contagion from 2011.
Yeah. Let's watch Contagion and build up our fear a little more. Latest figures reveal 471 cases in China, with 4 in Thailand, 2 in Hong Kong, and 1 in the U.S.
So
Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan.
Anything in Iceland or Madagascar yet?
No.
I think I'm more inclined to be affected by this because I'm currently listening to The Stand as I go to bed every night.
Oh shit!
And so my brain is in pandemic mode. Dude, there's a line in that fucking book that just gives me shivers, dude.
What is it? Do you remember it?
It's really earlier. It's earlier on in the book, and it's during one of the short chapters where he's just describing that. I love those parts where he's just describing the disease and how it spreads from one character to the next to the next.
Yeah.
And he said, Frank finished up his meal. I'm paraphrasing probably poorly here. Frank finished up his meal, and he left the waitress a $1 tip that was crawling with death. And it's just like, oh my god, oh
shit, dude.
Yeah, they're making a new little mini series of that too. That's probably I don't know if it's gonna be any good, but
The Stand.
It's such a good book.
I know that Marilyn Manson is playing a role in it. I think
Cool.
he's rumored to be playing the Trash Can Man.
Cool.
Anyway, the virus could be declared a global health crisis today after cases of the mystery bug increased from 300 in one day. It comes as British experts said that up to 10,000 people could already be infected amid fears the death rate is currently the same as the Spanish flu epidemic, which killed millions after World War I. The World Health Organization is holding an emergency committee meeting in Geneva today to determine if the outbreak should be classified as a global crisis like the West African Ebola outbreak of 2014-15. Deputy Director of the National Health Commission, Li Bin, said that all the deaths had been in the Hubei province, home to Wuhan City, where the first illnesses from the coronavirus were reported in late December. So, yeah, I mean, could this be the next big pandemic that wipes out millions? Sure.
The media wants you to think so.
I mean, is it going to be? I don't know. Probably not.
The media really makes, they make hay with this type of shit. But I think in this instance, there is a reason. Because we are at greater risk for this type of shit than at any time in human history. because there are more people traveling over a wider geographic expanse now. We're truly a global society now. So a lot of these big outbreaks that happened regionally because there wasn't much commerce between these places. Now we live in a world where people are just hopscotching all over the fucking face of the globe.
Every day, all the time.
And we live in a world that's been over prescribing fucking antibiotics and shit.
Which, by the way, this thing is totally resistant to antibiotics.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
No shock.
Like, so we're taking our only defense against some of these things and completely ineffectualizing it by, instituting this mass, just every time somebody's got a cold, give them antibiotics.
Well, overprescription's a big part of it, but also really what the hotbed of it has been factory farming, because in order to get these animals to grow faster and bigger, they just feed them tons of antibiotics and hormones.
They actually have traced this back to a specific grocer, and in China, and some of the things they were selling was rat meat, and they were also selling live wolf pups.
Oh,
well, what happens is these animals have these diseases, and then like you said, it spreads to a person, and then it's just like, if your immune system has never seen anything like that, you just get really sick and die, or you become a carrier and you spread it to somebody else in your family, and then suddenly it's just this huge thing. And China's a perfect hotbed of that because they have so many animals they keep in these places to sell people live animals for meat.
When I told my wife about this coronavirus, she thought that I was trying to make some kind of weird joke at the expense of that terrible beer. She's like, "Oh yeah, coronavirus, whatever. You get that from drinking too much Corona." And then later she saw it on like Twitter or something. Like, "You were serious about that?"
So Paul, as a globalist, how do we deal with this? Because if you don't think there's any borders, wouldn't this proliferate the spread of disease?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, so it's just Paul. So Paul, if Paul doesn't get the fucking nukes, he's like, pandemic's good enough.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the Georgia Guidestones are right. I think at a certain point we need to kind of cut the fucking population by a few billion. You know what I mean?
Gotta cut the fat.
Yeah. Skim the scum off the top of the heat.
If you're not strong enough to survive the coronavirus, you're not strong enough to be here.
Look, we run you through a room filled with coronavirus. You come out, we keep you in isolation. You survive for a week, you're good. If not, we shoot you in the head. You don't pass on your genetics.
I don't really have any strong preferences, but I'm just ready for this apocalypse to happen. I'm cool with a meteor strike. I'm cool with the nukes. I'm cool with some super bug that can't be fixed or whatever. I'm cool with like zombies. Whatever we want to do.
As long as you get to your end result,
right.
You don't care.
I'm just ready. I'm just ready for it to go.
The ends justify the means.
Man stabs, kills pro-Trump boss, drapes American flag over him, deputies say.
Okay.
Wow.
Mason Trevor Toney faces murder charge in death of William Knight. Now, I saw the folks at the Donald bitching about this and saying, like, this is some kind of Democrat that did this. It's not. This guy is apparently a radical anti-government sort of character. A construction worker with anti-government beliefs is accused of fatally stabbing his boss, who was a proud and outspoken American and pro-Donald Trump, according to Orange County Sheriff's arrest affidavit. Mason Trevor Toney, 28, was arrested Monday on murder charges in the death of his boss, William Knight, 28. The fatal stabbing was reported at 10:45 a.m. at a construction site at exit 254 of Florida's Turnpike near State Road 528. According to the arrest affidavit, a 911 caller reported that his coworker, identified as Toney, stabbed and killed their boss. Deputies said they found Knight dead next to an excavator with a brand new American flag over the side of his body. Witnesses said Toney was spotted carrying a backpack, which was likely carrying the flag, according to the affidavit. Witnesses said Toney and Knight were friends outside of the workplace, and Knight picked up Toney earlier in the day. Witnesses said Toney and Knight got into an argument, possibly over their opposing views of the U.S. government. According to the affidavit, Toney is very outspoken about his beliefs and has said the government is out to get him. Well, they are now. They got you now.
Ironically, they weren't before, but yeah, now they are. Or they were. Yeah.
Witnesses said they heard Knight yell for help and saw Toney repeatedly stabbing him with a trowel, according to the affidavit.
Fuck, a trowel?
I guess so.
Deputies said witnesses tried to stop the attack and threw things at Toney. So they just like chucked rocks at him and shit.
Who jumped into a truck and drove away while calling the witnesses terrorists. Toney was later taken into custody in Brevard County and placed under arrest. Tony is being held in Orange County
This
without
guy
bond.
sounds fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
A GoFundMe page has been created to pay for Knight's funeral expenses. Yeah, this guy sounds like a total Looney Tune to me.
Yeah,
a little out of it.
Kills his fucking. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people can appreciate the power fantasy of like my boss said that last time they're gonna backtalk me or say some mean shit to me, but this guy went a little far with that.
I don't know that the pro-Trump thing has much to do with it, but
No, that just got inserted.
that's just like, yeah, this'll give the article a little more spice.
Yeah, I like how this guy's reduced down to like he liked Trump, now he's dead.
He liked Trump, he got stabbed. What does that tell you, America? Huh? Yeah, I don't think that had much to do with it. Maybe it did. We'll find out, I guess. Well, we probably won't because we'll never see another article about this story again. But
that's a shame.
Yeah, we get the clickbait headline one. We don't really get the follow-ups.
So a Virginia gun rights rally, incredibly peaceful, defying expectations of hysterical media.
I mean, I gotta say that like there was a little bit of hysteria about this in the days leading up to it.
There certainly was. There still is. I saw another article. I didn't pull it, but it basically even after the thing went off without any reports of injury or violence or anything like that, there was still an opinion piece in I think it was the Philadelphia Inquirer or some such paper that said, "Let's call the Virginia gun protest for what it was, an act of terrorism." It's like, what?
What?
It wasn't, though. How was it
Dude,
an
I was
act
reading
of fucking
shit.
terrorism?
I was reading things that they were going to storm the state house and start taking hostages and
right.
shit.
And there was in fairness, there was people on their side too that were sure that there was going to be liberal infiltrators that were going to do violence to make everybody else look bad. That didn't happen either. I mean, these people, they showed up, they protested. There was no one was shot.
Oh,
no one was killed.
I saw the media coverage and it was like these two talking heads are like, I forget where I saw, but like, well, we're very fortunate it was a peaceful rally. But what could have happened if it went bad? And
what could have happened? We're covering alternate realities
so
now.
It was like 30 seconds of like, it was like the coverage of like, here's the guys out there with their guns, and it was all like, well, fortunately nothing bad happened, but what could have went south fast? And like they spend 4 to 5 minutes talking about all the bad scenarios that could have happened.
That could have happened.
TJ, read the fucking sickest burn ever in the first line of this article.
It was a rally for gun rights, but the media were filled with gun wrongs.
Oh,
snap, slam dunk.
Woo! Fox News.
Dude, I need a slide whistle when that shit happens. Oh, I'll just use you. I'll just say, Paul, slide whistle. Gun rights supporters had organized a big rally in Richmond, Virginia to protest several gun control bills being pushed by the Democrat-controlled legislature. By the way, these gun control bills these guys are protesting, so weak and ineffectual anyway.
Wasn't it something like
it was like
you can only buy one gun?
You can only buy one handgun a month.
Bullshit.
No!
I need to buy 20.
And then there was like, there's going to be background checks. Ah! So it was really weird that they even felt the need to protest this. I learned, though, that a lot of these gun people, they don't really have a sense of nuance about this issue. Like, for them, it's either you're pro-gun or you're anti-gun, and there's no in between.
Any legislation, no matter how fucking weak or limp-wristed or half-measured
is an attempt to confiscate all guns. That's just how they view it.
Well, I think a lot of the smarter ones that I've heard talk about it say that it's not necessarally about that one piece of legislation, but the slow creep of these legislations.
It's a slippery slope.
Right.
Yeah. And that does happen. So, but, I just feel like you can't. I feel like you can't assume that's going to happen. Like, there's such a thing as like you can go. You don't have like it's like part of this like where does it stop mentality. It's like, yeah, well, eventually it does stop. Like
maybe it doesn't. See, that's the thing. I think that like I'm not a gun rights guy, but I think the gun rights people, especially the hardcore, anybody should be able to get a gun for whatever reason type of people have every reason to be worried because I think that's exactly what's happening. I think that slowly but surely we're seeing these little fucking gun registrations or gun background check requirements in states that previously didn't have them. And I think that over time, eventually, you're going to see a lot more restrictive environment when it comes to getting guns, period. I think that that's the stated goal of these, like the people that oppose guns.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much
is to slowly but surely change the political climate and the social climate
and
the legislative climate so that eventually they can enact stronger controls on guns.
Yeah, but you have to win sort of a war for public opinion to get that.
See, but that's my thing is like I want to brush aside the public opinion and just have both sides argue out that fucking fundamental issue because I totally support the idea of I'd rather have it happen all at once, but I'm totally fine with this slow creeping fucking thing that eventually leads to some safe and sane fucking gun laws in this country. They keep these fucking weapons out of the hands of people that shouldn't have them.
Yeah,
so do you
mentally
think,
unstable people.
Do you think this Virginia rally is going to hinder this legislation or
Probably not.
make these politicians back down from it?
I think they're going to vote it through.
Probably not.
I mean, now, could it stall the bill? Could it make the bill weaker? That's definitely a possibility. But
I mean, the bill's already pretty damn weak. Well, it's a number of bills. It's not just one.
Well, yeah, sure.
But yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, though, I mean, like, the gun nuts came and they protested, and no one got hurt.
I mean,
no
look,
one was damaged. So,
I mean, honestly, if they want to come out and protest and make their voice heard, that's the way to do it.
they have a right to do it.
I mean, and honestly, they got everyone's attention. Obviously, the media spun it as like a bunch of crazy white nationalists are out there with, and I mean, look, obviously, this is not to say that there was no white nationalists in the audience. Who knows? But I mean, is every protest, do we have to know the personal opinions of everyone that attends?
I don't think that being a gun rights advocate does not make you a fucking white supremacist or a white nationalist or anything else. It just means you support fucking guns. That's what it means. So I think to extrapolate all these other positions onto these people is really fucking bogus and unfair.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not even on their side. Cleveland cop who urinated on girl as she waited for bus gets 4.5 years in prison. This is a weird story. Cleveland, Ohio, especially when you consider this, like, this is a cop. So, I mean, like,
what the fuck?
This
dude?
cop has other options, to make someone comply. They don't have to pee on you.
This is the extent you have to go to as a cop, by the way, to get
to
charged.
actually get in trouble.
Like, how are they going to spend you pissing on somebody?
In fairness, we have seen cops suffering a lot more repercussions as of late.
Paul, he had incontinence. He had to go.
A judge on Tuesday handed down a 4.5-year prison sentence to a former Cleveland police officer who admitted to urinating on a 12-year-old girl after she refused to get in his car at a school bus stop.
Who was the child in the situation?
Solomon Nihu. Well, we'll find out. I'm reading the article. Solomon Nihuatui, 34, showed no emotion during his only chance to speak before Common Pleas Court Judge Wanda C. Jones before she handed down her sentence. I would like to apologize to the victim, Nihuatui said. Why do you keep using his last name? What's his first name again? Solomon. His name is Solomon. Solomon stood silent for several seconds before Jones asked if he had anything else to say. I take responsibility for what I did, he said. Then he sat down. Jones said he was not convinced Solomon was truly sorry for his conduct. She said the physical and mental abuse he inflicted on the girl and his position as a police officer, which required him to protect the community from the very types of attacks he carried out, required consecutive sentences. Solomon faced a maximum of 7.5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty in December to charges of attempted kidnapping, pandering obscenity, disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, and endangering children in the August 16th attack. As part of his plea agreement, Solomon agreed to resign his position with the Cleveland Police and his license to be a police officer in the state of Ohio. Well, that's good. He can still go to another state and be a police officer. Solomon, who was hired to the force in 2014, I want to know what the fucking story is here. He's been disciplined 4 times in his 5 years with the Cleveland Police. Oh, that's good. Keep disciplining him. Yeah, I mean, like, he's only been on in the police since 2014. He's been disciplined 4 fucking times, and you don't realize there's a fucking problem. The second time you have to discipline a cop should be like, hey, this is pretty serious business.
This guy was on a fucking power trip, and the police protect their own. I mean, he had to do something. I mean, look, this guy do an egregious act that literally any person recognized as just wrong. He fucking had to drop his fucking pants or pull his dick out and piss on a fucking 12-year-old. And this guy's a fucking
All right,
cop.
so let's listen to this. This is when I actually tell you the story.
Okay.
So Solomon was off duty, so he's not even in his official capacity as a cop. Drove up to the girl as she waited for the bus to take her to school. Asked if she needed a ride. The girl refused his offers, and he drove away.
And that's where that should have ended.
Solomon then returned on foot, pulled out his cell phone, and recorded himself as he urinated on her, according to court records. The girl yelled at him, "What is your problem?" And he said, "What's wrong, bitch?" Solomon continued to record video with his cell phone as he walked away. Pretty smart cop, too, to be sure to capture evidence of his wrongdoing.
What the fuck?
A resident nearby called police to report a suspicious person later identified as Solomon looking into cars around the same time. Police pieced together, this guy's a fucking psycho, all right?
Right. He snapped.
This is just a psycho. I mean, he didn't snap. This guy was a psycho with a badge the whole fucking time. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he did snap. But, like, this guy's a fucking psycho. This guy's a psycho.
Scroll down.
DNA taken from the girl's clothes matched Solomon, and the girl identified him in a photo lineup, prosecutors say.
Now read this next one here.
Jones and Assistant Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Jennifer Driscoll criticized the Euclid Police Department for not taking the girl's report seriously at first. She was victimized twice, Jones told the girl's father. The fact that the report was taken right away is quite disturbing.
Because
wasn't taken right away.
And why do you think that was? Why do you think that was when they showed up to investigate?
Because he was a PIG.
Because he went, you know what, guys, I'm a cop. And they went, oh, you're a cop? All these people are lying about me. Then obviously when all the evidence comes out.
So the cops and rich people, the only people who are actually treated like they're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So,
yep, of course.
Or innocent until proven innocent, basically, in most cases. I mean, like, if it wasn't for this fucking video, if this motherfucker hadn't taken video evidence and there was no such thing as DNA testing, obviously this is an example of something that in the past the cop would have just gotten away with scot-free.
Because how can you prove it? He just goes, no, I didn't. And she goes, yes, you did. No, I didn't. Well, we have to.
I believe the cop over this fucking lying bitch.
Why would we believe a fine police officer of the Cleveland, Ohio Police Department would do such a heinous act?
I think it'd be ludicrous to believe such a tall tale.
I mean, this young girl here, she has a wild imagination.
Yeah, if this did happen, but perhaps the victim was on fire.
The cop was just pissing on her to extinguish the flames.
She threatened to set herself on fire, so he wanted to douse her clothes with the only fire-retardant liquid he had on hand.
A man allegedly killed 3 teens by ramming his car into another vehicle on purpose. So this incident was initially thought to be a hit and run, but it's now being investigated as a homicide. So a Southern California man intentionally rammed his car into another vehicle carrying 6 teenage boys on Sunday night, killing 3 of them, authorities said.
Wow.
The man allegedly ran his vehicle into the other car, causing it to go off the road and collide with a tree in Temescal Valley, about 60 miles southeast of Los Angeles. One of the teens died at the scene. The other 5 were transported to local hospitals with injuries, according to Riverside County Fire Department. 2 of the injured teens died later. The other 3 suffered non-life-threatening injuries. California Highway Patrol Lieutenant David Yoakley told reporters their names have not yet been released. Anurag Chandra, a 42-year-old from the area, was arrested shortly after the incident, Yoakley said. The initial investigation led us to believe it was a hit-and-run collision. However, due to witnesses who came forward in the subsequent investigation, we were able to determine this was an intentional act. Chandra was taken into custody at his home and charged with 3 counts of murder, a spokesperson for the California Highway Patrol told BuzzFeed News. He is being held without bail. It is unclear whether he has retained an attorney. A motive is not yet known, and authorities are now looking into Chandra was known to the victims. Obviously, like I said, there was some sort of contact which led to this incident, Yoakley said. A representative for Riverside County Sheriff's Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
AI drivers, please.
Yeah.
Self-driving cars now, please.
Get these damn foreigners out of this country, Tasia.
So this guy, basically, there's a car with like 6 teenagers in it, probably fucking being little assholes. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I remember when I was a teenager, you know, if it was me and a bunch of friends in a fucking car or whatever the fuck,
look, dude,
we were probably up to some bullshit.
6 teenage boys on a Sunday night. They were doing some bullshit.
Yeah. So maybe they did something to piss them off. They probably didn't do anything worthy of a fucking death sentence.
Yeah, I mean, should they be rammed off the fucking road? I mean, yeah, maybe they're assholes. Maybe the guy should have yelled at him and said, "You guys are a bunch of dipshits" or something. But to get so mad he runs them off the road, killing them, or killing 3 of them, that's a little fucking extreme, don't you think?
Yes. I just thought it was I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I just kind of thought it was an interesting story. You don't really hear about this kind of murder too often.
But you know the thing is, too? This just shows you never know who you're fucking with. And I mean, and maybe this
especially in a car. And I mean, like,
and maybe these kids didn't fuck with him at all. He just snapped. I mean, we don't know. But you just never know who the fuck is out there and is going to do some crazy-ass fucking shit.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it really just goes back to Paul's point, I think, about, like, man, the sooner we can get away from human drivers, the better.
Oh, my God, yes.
What if this still happens, though? What if it's like, Unit 23A would like to pass you as you are going well below the speed limit.
Denied.
Unit 23A's request to pass is denied. Well, fuck you, bitch. Unit 23A will run you off the road.
Dude, I hope that happens. That sounds awesome. I mean, not when I get killed by the little robot wars or AI wars, but
Yeah.
it does sound interesting for dystopian future.
Terry Jones, Monty Python star, dies aged 77.
Damn.
It's a shame.
Monty Python star Terry Jones has died at the age of 77 after having suffered with dementia.
I mean, people knew that he had dementia for years.
By the way, I didn't for some reason grab this story. I think I meant to, but I forgot. But there's been I think a 35% increase in dementia in the last like 5 or 10 years or some crazy short amount.
Well, also people are living longer.
But,
well, in some parts of the world, not the U.S. Technically, our life expectancy has gone down, but actually the number of people living longer periods of time has gone up. And it's like I think if you get like over the age of 85, there's like a 1 in 2 chance you're going to develop symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia.
But I guess Terry Jones had it for quite a while.
He did.
A statement from his family said, "We have all lost a kind, funny, warm, creative, and truly loving man." Fellow Python Sir Michael Palin described Jones as one of the funniest writer-performers of his generation. John Cleese said, "It feels strange that a man of so many talents and such endless enthusiasm should have faded so gently away." He added, "One of his many achievements, for me, the greatest gift he gave us all was his direction of Life of Brian, perfection." Probably my favorite of the Python movies, by the way.
Yeah, mine as well.
The Welsh comic actor, writer, and director died on Monday, 4 years after contracting a rare form of dementia known as FTD. Palin went on, "Terry was one of my closest, most valued friends. He was kind, generous, supportive, and passionate about living life to the full. He was far more than one of the funniest writer-performers of his generation. He was the complete Renaissance comedian, writer, director, presenter, historian, brilliant children's author, and the warmest, most wonderful company you could wish to have." A bunch of other comedy figures weighing in, like Stephen Fry. I don't really know who these other guys are, but they weighed in, I guess, as well. Yeah, just crazy. I mean, I guess, like I can probably expect to see a lot more people like this dying. I think we just covered recently how, a lot of the big rock legends are definitely
geriatrics, man.
Are definitely due to start
dropping off
like flies. I mean, just case in point, Ozzy Osbourne recently announced that he has Parkinson's disease,
which is not a total shock given watching him over the years.
I think he might have had it for a while.
Yeah.
But he came clean to U.S. TV show Good Morning America. That he has a mild form that he found out after suffering a fall last February. If you watch his most recent music video, by the way, he never stands up in the whole video. He basically sits on a park bench.
Which is what we said they should do for his tours. They should just build him a big flying throne that gets,
Fuck yeah, dude.
fire coming out of it and shit. And just let him sit.
I think he actually does have a throne that he sits in for most of his concerts now.
Well, let him sit in it the whole concert.
Yeah, just let him sit down. Let him sit down. He's
71. He's got Parkinson's.
Let him sit. Let him
Get
sit
him a
on
mint
down.
julep and let him put his feet up.
Yeah. Ozzy, you just relax, man.
Hey,
people are lucky to even be in your presence.
What's his name? Dave Grohl broke his leg or something. He just did all his shows on he sat down and did his shows. Ozzy can do the same shit. He's 71. Come on.
Manson did that too. He just got a fucking crazy gothed out wheelchair to fucking ride around in. It's not a death sentence, but it affects certain nerves in your body. You have a good day, then a really bad day. Ozzy added it was hard to tell whether the numbness symptoms he had were from Parkinson's or from the fall. Ozzy's in poor health.
We can hear him talk about it up there, or try to.
We can hear him attempt to talk about it.
It's not easy to be so transparent. You've always been an open book, but something like this so personal.
I'm not good with secrets. I cannot walk around with it anymore. Because it's like I'm running out of excuses, So I just go, hey, this is the deal. I hope you don't leave me.
It's not easy.
That's kind of sad that he thinks people would not like him anymore because he has Parkinson's.
What? Poor fucking
It's not gonna happen.
Ozzy, let me tell you something, dude. People are always gonna love you. It's okay.
Yeah, man.
You don't got to worry about that, man.
Dude, yeah.
That's kind of a sad clip,
that makes
man.
me sad that he's
I'm
worried about that.
I'm a little misty-eyed, man.
Yeah.
how could you not?
No
be
one's
hearing
leaving Aussie. Just you're fine, man.
Man, I was just such a consummate performer, dude,
Oh,
and
dude.
just fucking being like, you know what? I don't want to make fucking excuses. I mean, because it is hard to share your personal health details because it feels it's such a personal thing, and I mean, it takes fucking definitely some
Plus, when
gravitas and balls to go on a national news show and be like, hey, I got this fucking.
I mean, like,
disease.
I understand too. It's probably hard to show like a more vulnerable side when you've been like, I'm the fucking Prince of Darkness, and all that shit.
Yeah,
for so many years. I'm the Iron Man, and I'm whatever else. But yeah, I guess that probably concludes our pleb section.
Yeah.
Stop phoning
Good.
in, guys.
End the pleb section with a bunch of sadness so
Yeah.
they can weep tears of fucking regret for not being fucking patrons.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of stuff. We got a couple trailers we're gonna react to. We got some dumb Trump stuff. We got some more politics stuff. We got what else do we have?
We got a fucking buffet of shit waiting for us.
We got a bunch of stuff about how America's drinking water's bad. We got some furry stories. We got some fucking dead body stories. We got some rooster stories. We got all kinds of shit. But you ain't going to see it unless you're a patron, because you guys just watched the first half of the show, which is free to everybody. Second half is conveniently behind a paywall. So cough up that cheddar, and I don't think you'll regret that you did, because we have one of the best patrons, Patreons,
And believe
ever.
us, we know Patreons.
We know Patreons, and Oz is the best.
What do you mean one of the best? It's the best.
It's the best. It's flat out the best. All right, so that being said, fuck you, plebs.
Bye, plebs.
Patron section begins now. All right.
Whew. Thank goodness.
Every time, man, you just feel like
You just feel that weight being lifted, like
I'm ready to actually perform now.
warm-up's over, All right, let's get right into these trailers, because people love that stupid shit.
Oh, boy.
So, Paul, remember that Pokemon movie we watched?
Pokemon, mon.
I don't remember a whole lot of details about it other than it almost broke me as a person.
Well, this will break you even further, because they basically remade it as a
dude.
3D movie.
Mewtwo Strikes Back,
Not
dude.
not like, the 3D glasses kind, but, like the 3D animation.
Look, TJ.
Oh.
Empire Strikes Back. Oh, this is hideous.
If somebody wants to battle, why not? Squirtle, you were great. Squirtle.
Yeah, Paul.
This looks...
Squirtle was great, bro.
What the fuck is this, dude? Oh, man. Well, at least when it was like the 2D animation, I'm like, yeah, it's Pokemon from my childhood. Now it's like, Squirtle, you were great. Squirtle.
This 3D animation is shit.
It's horrible.
It's finally awakened.
The strongest Pokemon in existence.
Mewtwo, that is your name.
I will strike back against you.
So even Pokemon movies are getting the Inception treatment.
What is... Oh, no. Please. Please, my childhood can't take this.
Yeah, we need the Pokemon movie definitely needed a...
Dude, I gotta say, dude, I'm so glad I was too old for Pokemon when it came out, because I'm not disappointed by this at all.
You three have been acknowledged as up-and-coming trainers. The world's greatest
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Your only hope.
Oh, this movie's a
The
fucking...
greatest trainer in the
cobbled
world is
together
across the
Frankenstein
sea.
of bad
You
movies.
just gotta get over there.
Prepare for
the total destruction of your childhood.
legendary
We have given
Pokebag.
life to you using the rarest of Pokemon as a basis.
A legendary
If weak humans are allowed to govern, the world is headed for ruin.
Oh, no, it is just a Frankenstein of bad
Which of you will
tropes.
oppose me first?
This looks like a bad video game cutscene.
This is just, I think this is just a fucking direct remake of every, I think it's like line for line, maybe.
This makes me so happy, because you know what, dude? This is going to be some millennials' very first taste of having their titties milked for that nostalgia dollar. They're going to show up all jazzed for this shit, and it's going to suck, and they're going to feel all empty inside. Oh, you're going to love it, millennials. Wait until you think this is the worst you're going to get? You better fucking hold on, bitches. They're going to wring every bit of reverence you have for this franchise out onto the floor and then mop it up with a dirty old pair of period panties and then run it through a fucking sewage pipe filled with crusty old shit and let a rat eat it and shit it out before they're done with this motherfucker.
Remember Pokemon? Oh, you loved that, didn't you? Oh, yeah, I did love it. Oh, yeah, look at this terrible 3D movie. No! Oh, God, no! Please make it stop! Make it stop!
It's been about 20 years since I feel like my generation was exclusively milked like a cow, and now it's the torch is starting to get passed, and it's like, oh.
It's horrible, dude.
Thank
Stop
goodness.
Let's see the rest of this piece of shit.
I'm not liking this at all.
You want to try.
So epic.
So, you do have some fight in you.
Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution.
Oh, shit, dude.
Bigger.
Jesus Christ.
Netflix?
Only on Netflix.
No!
That's right. Get milked. Get that titty milk. Put that titty in that fucking milking machine and let them sap your fucking childhood out. While picking your pocket, Scotty. Let me reach around back and get in that wallet while I milk your fucking titties dry of every bit of enthusiasm you have.
So beautiful. All right, so this is a trailer. I don't know anything about this movie. It's called The Rhythm Section. Let's see what it's about.
I lost my family 3 years ago. They
You looked under the couch.
were killed. I have nothing left. I'll find the people who did this.
That's where my
I'll kill
remote
every
usually
last
is.
one of them. I need your help.
Paul sold.
Paul's like, yep, this is a good one.
Dude, Paul's about to talk some shit, I can tell.
Paul's like, fuck this piece of...
Yeah, who will train you? Jude Law? Jude Law? Nope, it's good.
Daddy Jude is in it?
Hey, Jude.
Wow.
You're
Give
making
me that ass.
Well, gotta go see it.
Taking Paul to full fucking mad.
Shoot me.
What?
Right here. You gotta get your rhythm section under control. Think of your heart as the drums. Your breathing as the bass.
Seems like an intimate movie, Paul.
The premise is Jude
That's
is going
the
to
easy part.
train
What's the
this
hard
chick.
part?
So Paul can like
Living with
put
it.
himself in the woman's role, I guess, and be like, yes, train me, Master Jude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So it looks like it's another one of these chick spy movies.
Atomic
Atomic
Blonde.
Blonde Part 98.
Was that other one that just came out?
Les Femmes Repeater.
Yeah. What is this?
This?
No, I just mean like this new like
I don't know.
femme fatale type of thing.
It's like getting real big. There's like
It's
a lot of
just-
little indie
look,
hits about,
A lot of people just love them because look, in this Hollywood climate, it's really easy to make these movies and get everyone to go, yeah, this is a female empowerment
girl
movie.
power.
Yeah, so it's just an easy sell to that crowd, and I think it's just like it's a genre that's done well. Atomic Blonde, I believe, did pretty well at the box
What's
office.
that one with Bridget Fonda? Is that Point of No Return?
Yeah.
This really feels like that.
That's the one that's like a La Femme Nikita remake, basically.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a
They just did one with Jennifer Lawrence, like Red Sparrow.
yeah,
Was it?
something
Yeah,
like that.
so like
or
they've
Sparrow or Red Sparrow
yeah,
or something
so
like
they've
that.
done a bunch of these movies, and I don't see that trend stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, and they're all pretty much the same. And
it's
honestly,
formulaic, but it works. I
honestly,
think, for a lot
they
of
don't
people.
really. I've never really seen one that was that bad.
Do they all have Jude Law in them though?
No. No, this one's unique.
I'm gonna
Rhythm.
do this my way.
A lot of people think that you're dead.
I get that a lot.
Not really seeing like much
Think of
new
your heart.
here.
It's the
What
drum.
happened to Jude?
You're breathing.
I think maybe he
It's the
dies. No, there
No.
The rhythm section.
Oh, it's
When are you gonna
Jude.
teach me to fight?
We take
Yeah, I think-
Oh shit! Does
How long-
Jude fucking come after her?
Menopause will be a distant memory.
I think they would push that if that was going on.
That's a good start.
Jude gets nut
Okay,
shotted.
so either Jude's life is in peril and she has to save him, or
or he's dead and he's avenging.
he gets killed and she has
She's
to avenge
avenging
him.
her, or
He
he's
turns
the,
evil.
or he's the evil one. That
How
she's
dare
after.
she do damage to Jude's holy oysters, dude?
Yeah, dude.
How dare she kick something so beautiful and perfect?
Poor Jude.
God damn it.
Yeah, so it's just another one of those.
Yeah, I'll see it. I mean, maybe not in the theaters, but
Paul, yeah, I'm sure you will see it alone.
at night with the lights off and a bottle of Jergens next to me.
So let's talk about how the water's poison. People in 43 U.S. cities are drinking toxic Forever chemicals in their tap water test show.
But it keeps the water good and fresh
I
forever.
loved me some Forever chemicals. I don't see any dots on us, so that's cool. Dozens of cities nationwide, including Miami, Philadelphia. Oh, there's New Orleans. Well, what the fuck? There's no dot on New Orleans.
They don't need a dot.
You motherfuckers.
We're not even worth the dot.
Yeah, they won't even give us a dot.
Should we put that dot on Louisiana? No, don't even waste the printer ink on that.
Look at fucking goddamn Michigan, and I believe it's New Jersey. They're just blue dots.
Yeah, they've been entirely swallowed by dots. Apparently the dots mean nothing, though, because it says right here New Orleans and whatever.
Isn't it sad that the people that live the closest to the natural fresh water in the world are having the worst problems?
Yep.
Like, Arnold, isn't Michigan like literally just like a peninsula in the middle of one of the biggest fucking? Isn't it the biggest?
Yeah.
In the world, freshwater lake.
The Great Lakes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Such long-lived fluorinated PFAS chemicals, short for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, have emerged in the last decade as a wider pollution concern because of some evidence of links to cancer and lowered fertility. They are perhaps best known from the 2019 movie Dark Waters about pollution from a DuPont facility in West Virginia. Earlier surveys have linked water contamination with these chemicals to firefighting foams and Teflon, but the new independent lab results, which detected PFAS chemicals in 43 out of 44 cities tested last year, point to a more widespread problem. PFAS in drinking water is not okay, Environmental Working Group study co-author Sidney Evans told BuzzFeed News. Evans said the group was surprised to see the chemicals turn up in cities as varied as Miami, New Orleans, and Philadelphia. The only place they tested that didn't have PFAS contamination was Meridian, Mississippi.
Now you just blew my fucking...
Meridian. I've been to Meridian, Mississippi.
Yeah, we've driven through it's
Meridian, Mississippi literally looks and smells like shit.
But I guess
their drinking
the
water's
water's
okay.
good.
So congratulations, Meridian, Mississippi. You're the only place to pass the fucking test.
I mean, look at the states here. So California just...
Well,
it's just surrounded by this shit.
It
Oregon
says,
skips...
This is just 43 cities they tested. So that's 43 out of 44 cities that were tested. So that means it's probably just everywhere. It's probably just basically essentially everywhere.
There's actually a thing you can look up that shows you the water quality of the, various areas. And like, I looked at this one. We didn't have any of that. We had some other thing. I think we had like too much arsenic in our water or something.
Cool. U.S. Supreme Court, another fucking crazy water story, lets Flint, Michigan residents sue over water contamination. Well, I guess the whole country seems like they could get in on a class action lawsuit at this point against the fucking water. The U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday let residents of Flint, Michigan pursue a civil rights lawsuit against the city and government officials that accuse them of knowingly allowing the city's water supply to become contaminated with lead.
Jesus.
The justices turned away 2 appeals by the city and the state and local officials of a lower court ruling that allowed the lawsuit to move forward. The lower court rejected a demand for immunity by the officials, finding that they violated the residents' rights to bodily integrity under the U.S. Constitution by providing the tainted water after switching water sources in a cost-cutting move in 2014.
Yep.
The justices' actions comes as similar class action cases are currently on appeal at the Cincinnati, Ohio-based 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals.
And this has been going on for a long time. Like 2014 is when they started poisoning these people. So 6 years.
Remember, they put the state of Michigan, the city of Flint, and these other places under emergency management, which basically meant that someone appointed by the governor's office basically oversaw the state, so the elected officials had no power. And to save money, it says here, they switched from Lake Huron to the Flint River. Obviously, the chemicals in the Flint River were corrosive and caused these pipes, basically the lead to be leached from these pipes. You know what's funny was in the Michael Moore's latest documentary, he talks about this, and they talk about how, like, but GM, it was actually destroying the parts they were making in their factories nearby, so they were actually allowed to get water from Lake Huron.
Yeah, so when
the people having lead exposure, no problem. Let them die.
Yeah,
or
so
fuck
basically,
their children up.
When the Flint River water was damaging the cars, they immediately switched GM back
to the
good water. But when people started dying and kids started having developmental problems and shit,
fuck them.
It's like who cares?
They basically just put a price on those children's lives.
My hometown, of Flint, Michigan.
I mean, in this case, though, he's kind of fucking right, isn't he?
He's definitely
I mean,
right.
you know what? A lot of times when he pulls out his bullshit, Michael Moore's entirely right. Flint, Michigan got royally fucked over by the fucking federal government and by the. I mean, look at what happened when Obama went there and took a fucking sip of water.
You remember that? How that backfired on his ass?
Oh, yeah. I need a glass of water. No, this is not a stunt.
Yeah. Hey, TJ, I'm gonna show you if people haven't seen it, let's just show you what Obama did. A glass of water gets brought out.
Well, no, let's just. I'm gonna set up the context of this.
Okay.
So Obama goes to Flint, Michigan, and because Obama's on the side of evil, so even though the people of Flint are like, yeah, Obama's gonna come and help us. Obama's gonna come and help us, and then Obama shows up and he's giving a speech. And he's like, you know what? I think I could use a glass of water. Does anyone have a glass of water around? Yeah, that good, safe to drink Flint water.
He wet his lips.
He's like. The lips were fucking clenched tight.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
It's like this.
Mmm.
It looks like I took a sip, but I didn't do shit. There's all just on my lips.
Yummy Flint water.
Wow.
So good. So nourishing. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Let's take a look at something. Let's have a little fun. Because that's a depressing story. We don't need to be nonstop depressed.
Grandpa Trump.
So I'm just going to let you listen to this clip, and you just tell me. There's a ridiculous moment hidden in this clip.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it's Trump, so the whole thing is ridiculous. But there's a... You'll see.
Who can find it?
Tesla's now worth more than GM and Ford. Do you have comments on Elon Musk?
Well, you have to give him credit. I spoke to him very recently, and he's also doing the rockets. He likes rockets, and he does good at rockets, too, by the way.
He does good at rockets.
What the fuck?
That's not it, by the way.
All right.
That's not it.
I didn't think so. It was too obvious.
That's not it, but no.
I like that one, though.
But that's a fun one, too. He does good at rockets. He's really good at it.
I never saw where the engines come down with no wings, no anything, and they're landing. I said, I've never seen that before. And I was worried about him because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our genius. You know, we have to protect Thomas Edison, and we have to protect all of these people.
What? We have to protect Thomas Edison?
Hold on.
Came up with originally the light bulb and the wheel and all of these things. And
we have to protect Fag Goodstone. The European caveman who chiseled the
Thomas
first wheel.
Edison. We have to protect our genius, which he's talking about himself. Then Thomas Edison, who originally invented the light bulb and then the wheel.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
America invented the wheel.
Listen to this. Let's go back and listen again.
All right.
And then we have to protect all of these people that came up with originally the light bulb and the wheel and all of these things. And he's one of our very smart people. And
Oh my God!
This-
Somebody
we invented the wheel. I don't know what to
This
tell you.
This is who beat Hillary. So Hillary, if Hillary wants to feel even worse, just go watch this clip over and over again.
America invented the wheel. I don't know what to tell you. We just did. It's just a fact.
Let's just rewrite history. Fuck it. We did invent the wheel, right? Elon Musk invented the wheel.
Fag Goodstone, the first American,
Now,
chiseled the wheel out of a block of limestone.
you would think that, but actually, Elon Musk invented a time machine to go back and invent the wheel before him. See, because he's thinking ahead. He's thinking ahead, man.
I didn't hear that one. Mm-hmm. Somebody get Grandpa Trump a ribbon to cut somewhere.
I know, please.
he's doing it again.
Look, a chocolate cake is going to be served at the ribbon cutting event. Just send him on down there.
Another fun story. A group of furries. You don't need to put that in quotes. That's what they are.
Yeah, they are that.
You don't need to.
Yeah, they're people that dress up.
That's what they call themselves. That's not. It's the proper term.
I mean, it's a pretty nice furry costumes right there.
A group of furries stopped a domestic violence assault and helped police make the arrest.
Damn.
Several members attending a furry convention in California on Friday helped restrain a man who was assaulting his girlfriend until police arrested him, according to officials. 6 people witnessed the assault at the annual Further Confusion, or FurCon, in San Jose. Furries are enthusiasts, and we know what a furry is.
Yeah, we have.
They said the man was assaulting a woman in a car. The San Jose Police Department said in a police report.
You know what?
There's actually video of these furries, I guess.
Damn.
Hey, no, Joe, stop.
I told you.
Joe.
Put that shit out and
don't fuck with them furries.
Joe.
Great footage of this, by the way, buddy.
I told you not to film it. Dude, you know what happened? This guy beating his girlfriend's a piece of shit, clearly. And you know, he looked to the side of him. He's like, man, who was here?
Some furries.
What the fuck are they gonna do, man? Some fucking fury. They're gonna do shit to me. And then they jumped him.
Robbie Ryans, 26, was working as a DJ for the convention when a friend went outside for a smoke break. Out of nowhere, Ryan said a blue car stopped in front of them. We heard a woman's screams coming from the inside and saw the passenger throwing full fists at whoever was driving. We got up and ran towards the car. My friend pulled open the door, and we both held on to the attacker. The girl driver was yelling for him to get out, and he started trying to fight us off. 4 other people who were attending the convention joined in and grabbed the man, dragged him out of the car, and restrained him until police arrived. You know, I saw a bunch of people online being like, "Oh man, this guy's gonna be so embarrassed because he got his ass kicked by a bunch of furries." I'm like, yeah, as opposed to just the guy who beats the shit out of his girlfriend. That's not embarrassing.
Yeah.
Dude, we got to call an option the movie rights on this immediately, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Furry
Mr. Fluffy
justice.
Foxtail, what's going on over there? I don't know, Sir Wolfington, but I know we have to do something about it. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, 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 bum. Super heroes.
Yeah,
we got
there
to
you
do
go.
it. We got to do it, dude.
I think that I think we need to like exaggerate a little more and make it where they like take down an international like woman abuse ring or some
yeah.
shit.
Sex traffickers, dude.
At a time when it seemed no one cared, it took an unlikely group of heroes to clean up the streets.
Have them fighting with their big old weighted tails and shit.
Have fucking, these furies fucking just patrolling the streets of fucking goddamn New York, man. Just keeping it safe.
Inventing more and more technologically integrated fur costumes so that they can,
Oh, dude, one can have
be
like
stronger and faster like the actual animals that they are.
one can have like a fucking tail that just knocks the shit, like that'll knock your ass out, dude.
Yeah,
they
dude.
can start giving them actual like fur powers and shit.
Yeah. Damn.
So here's a great story. This is hey, here's why capitalism doesn't always solve every problem the greatest. People still want plastic bottles, says Coca-Cola.
What can we do?
So basically, I want everyone to just like put that into context. So like the well-being of the entire planet, that's in one hand. On the other hand, my desire to drink sugar water from a plastic bottle.
Yep.
And what wins out? What wins out?
The plastic bottle.
The one that I'm willing to fucking shill like $1.25 for, whatever a fucking Coke costs now.
And the best part about it is, TJ, is we know where a lot of that shit ends up. In the ocean.
In garbage as a new fucking square, as a new yardage on Garbage Island, basically.
Yeah, I mean, Garbage Island, look, TJ, it's expanding rapidly. And look, they want to keep that expansion going. People have talked about this issue. It's important. We want to make sure the trash ground grows ever larger. So eventually we'll have a land bridge between Asia and North America.
Yeah, that our ancestors can, our descendants can cross in the future coming hellscape apocalypse world.
Yeah, we're just doing it for the benefit of everyone.
Coca-Cola will not ditch single-use plastic bottles because consumers still want them, the firm's head of sustainability has told the BBC.
What? So the head of sustainability looks at this. I mean, this position is a joke. How could they even have this position if they're going to say, well, people still want it? It doesn't matter if people still want it. What's best for the environment?
Yeah, I mean, like... I love the nakedness of it, because I mean, obviously, people do want these bottles. I drink out of them. I'm not gonna sit here and claim I've never done that. I usually drink out of cans, but if I'm at a fucking gas station or something, I want a Coke, or I want this, that, or the other thing.
But these are the fundamental changes that need to be made in order for our society to even get on a path to sustainability.
But why does my desire to drink a bottle of Coke, which, by the way, I really don't give that much of a shit what canister my Coke is in, but why does my desire to drink it out of a plastic bottle trump literally everything else in the world?
Because profit. Because they need to make money.
Because Coca-Cola,
they don't have an
Coca-Cola
answer.
doesn't make no money off of saving the fucking earth.
Yeah, because they don't have an answer to replace it. So it has to be spun like, well, you know what? Consumers just still want it. We've surveyed consumers in which
who gives a fuck? Fuck consumers then.
Because they're all about making money. They don't give a fuck, dude. Do you think they give a shit? You think the CEO of Coke is sitting there
And
like,
you know what?
how can we make less sales?
The
and
thing
make
is,
less money?
I don't expect Coke to do anything. I
course.
don't expect them to, and because that's not what Coca-Cola exists to further the interest of Coca-Cola, just like every corporation exists to further its own interest. The problem is we're supposed to have a government that that can look at things on a little bit broader of a scale, but instead they're bought and fucking sold by these industries. Every fucking mega corporation's got its fucking fingers in our government, so nothing gets done about these things. It's because there's no one's looking at the larger interest. No one's looking at it. No one cares about it. It's just, oh, well, as long as I can still drink my fucking Coke out of a bottle, I'm good.
Yeah, Coke was pledged to use at least 50% recycled material in its packaging.
Oh.
Guess what? The recycled material is just going to end up in the landfill of the ocean, too. So whoop-de-fucking-do.
Oh.
But it's going to be recycled.
I'm coming my britches over that.
What are they going to replace it with?
I
Like,
don't
what kind of container is supposed to replace? Because plastic bottles are just ubiquitous now.
Yes.
Everything, every type, especially liquids,
Oh, yeah. It's
come in plastic.
Yep.
Maybe
So
if you-
what?
Well,
Like,
the only exception I can think of that is like energy drinks. For some reason, they always come in cans. I mean, not always, but for the most part. But yeah, besides that, you're right. I don't know.
I mean, we still got this can technology. We still got glass. I know that's recyclable.
I mean, but those are all finite resources too. Like
Sure.
especially the fucking paper stuff. You know, like you have to cut down trees to make that shit.
Sure.
So what kind of container is supposed to come along and replace this for us?
I have no idea.
I mean,
I mean, we already have cans. Like you just, hey, we'll just ring out of cans.
Well, I'm honestly the fact of the matter is in some respects paper products can be more sustainable. In some respects, they're not. It's really that we're kind of in like ultimately. How do you get rid of single-use plastic? I don't think anyone has a fucking answer for that because otherwise already would have been done. Because like right now,
it's hard to replace that convenience.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. People want that fucking convenience, but I mean, the also reality is to deal with climate change is people are gonna have to give up a lot of convenience.
It's also the cleanliness of it too. Like plastic is simply the most hermetically sealed, clean fucking way to distribute stuff that we've come up with.
Yeah.
And how do you
at least on a mass scale?
Right. How do you replace people's desire for these fucking products with something that isn't going to rape the earth? I don't know that there's an answer to it.
I mean, maybe there is, but no one's come up with it.
I mean, I still think we'd just be better just using cans because I mean, I know those are recyclable.
Yeah.
And they're hermetically sealed. The only thing is you can't reseal them.
Right.
And that's what really bothers people. People like the bottles because they can drink a little bit and then reseal the fucking bottle. Tarp falls from collapsed Hard Rock Hotel, reveals body dangling over French Quarter.
A little local news for you guys.
Yeah, some local news.
Those of you that don't live in the area, let you know what's going around in the home city of Deep Fat Fried.
I do believe we covered this collapse.
We did so.
So we don't need to talk about that again.
Well, I mean, we should
long story short,
refresh it.
Go ahead.
There was a fucking they were building this big new Hard Rock Hotel in the French Quarter.
Yep.
And due to a lot of factors, because this thing is so close to other buildings and shit, it collapsed, and they can't really clean it up. Like they're not 100% sure how to get this half-built building to down to rubble so they can rebuild something else.
It sounds like to me the city of New Orleans it could potentially take years to get rid of this. I mean, like, because there's actually not any clear sort of like this is how we're gonna do it.
There's no timeline. It's just literally like, and now there's this literal corpse from somebody that died in the collapse dangling over the French Quarter. You can see it here covered by a tarp. Apparently, recently the tarp blew away in a little storm that we had, and people saw this dude's fucking just body hanging there. And apparently his body is in a place that it is too dangerous
to go to.
Yeah,
they
so,
can't send somebody to recover it because they're afraid this thing might collapse further.
The mayor says there's nothing really the city can do about the worker.
You're just gonna have to deal with the corpse.
Maybe if they can get a fucking helicopter and lower a tarp over it or something. I don't know, man. It's anything.
Well, they already did that.
I'm saying at least the tarp blew away, and maybe they can just do it again. I don't know, man.
I have no idea.
That just sucks for the people who they fucking lost this person, and now their body's just on display at the French Quarter. The city's like, ain't nothing we can do.
Just another stop on the haunted tour.
Yeah,
that's where them people was killed by the
and over there you could see the literal dead body of a man who died in this explosion, but we can't get it because we're dumb. Man killed by blade-wielding rooster during a legal cockfight. Awesome.
I mean, the rooster wasn't wielding the blade. They strap knives to these fucking animals so that they can do more damage to one another in these fights.
A man has died after a rooster slashed him with a razor during an illegal cockfight in India. Sarapelli, I'm not even going to try, was a spectator in Pragadavaram village in the state of India, get your name schemes together, all right? Andhra Pradesh on Friday. The birds have razor blades tied to their limbs. Yeah, so, they're not, wielding is a little bit, they're not, the rooster didn't walk up and pick up a knife,
Right.
And then placed in the ring where they fight until only one is left standing. When an event organizer was placing the rooster in the ring, it struggled free and kicked out, fatally wounding 55-year-old Venkateswara Rao in the stomach. The Indian Supreme Court banned cockfights as part of the 1960 Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. However, they are still a popular practice in many Indian villages, especially a part of celebrations for Makar Sankranti, a Hindu festival day.
These things, by the way, still happen pretty often in rural areas here in the United States as well. Cockfights are still a thing that you can go see in some of the podunk places. I grew up around cockfights. I never went and saw one.
Oh, yeah.
But people were always getting busted for having cockfights and shit.
Taylor, growing up, said she was friends with this girl, and she didn't realize, why your parents have so many roosters and stuff. They're like, oh, well, I don't know. And then she found out one day that basically they got arrested for having a cockfighting ring.
Yeah. So
it was actually illegal in Louisiana for a long. It wasn't. I think it was till maybe like the last 15 years. It recently just became illegal.
And it's incredibly cruel, as you can imagine. I mean, it's just literally just letting two animals peck themselves and cut themselves to death. And taking bets on which one is going to live and which one isn't.
Let's have a good bull baiting, TJ.
I mean, people do this shit with dogs too.
Oh,
dog fighting.
Like what's that
Michael
NFL
Vick.
asshole?
Michael Vick. He had a pit bull dog fighting ring, or was
and didn't even. Motherfucker was already rich, so it's like at least with some of these people, you could be like, well, I guess it's a quick way to make a fucking bunch of money. Getting people to come and bet on these fights, but like in the Michael Vick case, he doesn't even have that lame excuse.
Bullfighting is the same. I mean, it's just like
that's more culturally accepted in the place it's at because you couldn't even really do like an underground bullfight.
It shouldn't be though.
No, it's
totally, incredibly fucking cruel.
It's totally barbaric. And then all these vegans are going to come out.
I mean, even just like rodeo and shit.
Yeah,
which is accepted. I mean, just the way that they treat the animals in rodeo is fucking horrible.
Just so you know, we're going to get a lot of vegans whining at us, by the way.
Who cares?
Whining at us? Why?
Yeah,
because we're for this?
No, because
you'll kill it.
You're going to kill. You let those animals kill each other, but still you eat your disgusting hamburger.
A bull dies and Paul's upset, but a cow dies and Paul says, "Ooh, give me a cheeseburger."
Because there are ways of killing these animals that are not like totally like strapping
Factory
razor
farm
blades to
Paul
them and letting them fight out.
So here's this. People no longer believe working hard will lead to a better life, survey shows. So basically what I get from this is people finally starting to wake up to how badly they're getting fucked by the system.
And what a misleading fucking meme that was that got started anyway. And
Hard work.
I wonder who started it.
I could make a guess, but it would just be that.
Poor people, for sure.
Yeah, it was probably a bunch of poor, downtrodden people.
Yeah.
Not the fucking rich overlords. Like, yeah, if you work hard for me, eventually your life won't be shit.
What's one of the most horrible things I ever hear people say? It's if you work hard and play by the rules, you'll get ahead in this country.
Yeah. Does anyone really say that unironically anymore?
Some people.
Yes.
Ugh, fuck them. A growing sense of inequality is undermining trust in both society's institutions and capitalism, according to a long-running global survey.
What? If you just work
We call this the No Shit Sherlock survey. The 2020 Edelman Trust Barometer, now in its 20th year, has found many people no longer believe working hard will give them a better life.
Because it won't.
Despite strong economic performance, a majority of respondents in every developed market do not believe they would be better off in 5 years' time. This means the economic growth no longer appears to drive trust, at least in developed markets, upending the conventional wisdom. We are living in a trust paradox, Richard Edelman, CEO of Edelman. Since we began measuring trust 20 years ago, economic growth has fostered rising trust. This continues in Asia and the Middle East, but not in developed markets where national income inequality is now the more important factor. Fears are stifling hope, and long-held assumptions about hard work leading to upward mobility are now invalid. Growing trust chasm between elites and the public. 56% of the surveyed global population said capitalism in its current form does more harm than good in the world. Most employees, 83% globally, are worried about job loss due to automation.
They should be.
A looming recession,
Yep.
They should
lack
be.
of training,
Yes.
cheaper foreign competition, immigration, and the gig economy.
The only thing that's sad about that is it should be 100%.
57% of respondents worry about losing their respect and dignity they once enjoyed in their country. Nearly 2 in 3 feel the pace of technological change is too fast. Australia recorded one of the largest declines of trust in technology. Australians were most worried about losing their job to the gig economy, followed by recession, lack of training, and foreign competitors.
See, I really wish people weren't so fucking misinformed on this. It is not the pace of technological change that is the problem. It is the pace of our fucking systems of economic exploitation adapting to that change that is the problem. It's that's why you're getting put out of a job by automation, because there's no plan by your governments to come up with any kind of new economy or any kind of new way to ensure that you have enough fucking capital to get by in your life.
Well, I think that's why Andrew Yang's candidacy generated so much interest, at least initially, because it seemed like he was the only one that was even talking about this.
You know what, TJ? If you lose your job, you need more training. Where can I get that more training? We got to go to college or vocational school or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can't afford that.
No, you
Pull
can.
yourself
Just go
up by your bootstraps, TJ.
No, you can afford it. Just go under a mountain of debt.
Yeah, go under
You
a
can
mountain.
spend the rest of your
That's fine.
life futilely struggling to get out from under.
You know, the system is so rigged against the average person that anyone credibly saying that anything besides what's been brought up here is just ill-informed.
While 65% of the worldwide informed public aged 25 to 65, university educated in the top 25% of household income said they trust their institutions. Only 51% of the mass public, everyone else, representing 83% of the total global population, said the same.
Yeah, those people.
So, hey, well, it's amazing. Rich people like the system.
Rich people are well off.
Weird.
Yeah, because the system benefits them and it works for them. So, of course, they're going to go, yes, it's great. I trust it.
The result is a world of two different trust realities, the report says. I mean, like, obviously, if you're a beneficiary of the system, you like the system. No shit. Like, that's just like, I mean, like, why am I reading all this no-brainer shit, like, as if it's some sort of revelation?
Well, I mean, it's still good to study it and kind of quantify it and understand where I'll at least get a picture of what the public's thinking on this issue is.
Oh, listen to this fucking paragraph. The informed public, wealthier, more educated, and frequent consumers of news remain far more trusting of every institution than the mass population. Oh, the ignorant, unwashed, stupid masses who don't know what's going on.
Right, because
they're the
you don't
ones
have a piece
who
of
have a
paper.
problem with this system.
Yeah, but any fucking attempt to expand the right to partake in that type of life to the people that are below them, we're against that. Though.
Yeah, you know what? I have a perfect fucking solution for this. Why don't we make everyone wealthier, more educated, and all that other stuff? How about we invite them to the fucking party? Then they can trust the institutions too.
Also, you're saying
problem fucking solved.
Instead of trickle down, a rising tide lifts all ships, TJ. So, or you know what? You like trickle down better. Let's just have let's have a small group of elites, the informed, TJ. We'll call them the informed.
Ah, the informed.
These are the informed, TJ. These are the uninformed.
The uninformed fools of the world don't understand how great the system is.
Surely, if the rich are allowed to accumulate more and more capital, it'll drizzle down in the form of their shillings to the people below.
Yeah, I can't believe people don't like the system. It's crazy.
We'll still need gardeners.
Patriots, Benjamin Watson producing abortion documentary. The movie, budgeted at least $1 million, features former presidential candidate Ben Carson and Alveda King, the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Why does this whole worshiping the families of people that were important, I've never really understood. It's like, why is Alveda King?
I'm going to fucking start saying that I'm like the fucking great-great-grandnephew of Napoleon Bonaparte or something.
I mean, just
give myself some more legitimacy.
Just say the truth. Like, you're a great-great-great-great-great, grandson of Genghis Khan. Therefore, what I mean?
See, I got a little Genghis Khan in my blood.
Yeah, everybody has a particle of Hitler, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Due to January 4th playoff loss on the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, he lost the Titans. So anyway, because he lost that, he's now making this documentary, which I guess he started before, and he worked on it in his bye week and all this other stuff. But now he's got time to finish it. So Watson, a pro-life Christian, is executive producing and partially financing a movie called Divided Hearts of America.
Oh, God.
Feel that, Paul? You feel that title? Divided Hearts of America. Get it?
I'm
United
sick of this
States
shit.
of America becomes Divided Hearts of America, Paul. You get that, Paul?
I just know what it's going to be already. A bunch of emotional argumentation with absolutely no backing to deal with the problems that having an abortion-free society would fucking bring. Like, there's just no answer to what do you do with the kids that are unwanted and end up in the fucking system.
Well, see, Paul, in the movie, Watson interviews about 30 Americans. Some pro-life, some pro-choice, Paul.
Oh,
this is an even-handed documentary.
It's fair and balanced.
The film features several prominent people, such as former president. Yeah, we know. You told us that already.
Ben Carson.
Yeah, Ben Carson. Yeah, because that's, wow, he's an authority on, I don't know what, but something.
Anything.
I never thought I'd be involved in a movie, but so many different laws have passed in New York, Alabama, Georgia. It seems this issue, which has always been a part of our national consciousness, has ramped up recently. Does it? Not really. I mean, like...
In the minds of these anti-abortion people.
I kind of feel like this has always been pretty much at this level. Things are at a fever pitch. I feel like they were more of at a fever pitch during like the Bush administration and shit.
Yeah, about stem cells.
20 years ago, this was a way hotter topic than it is
I mean,
now.
it's still hot and everything, but My goal is to unveil the truth about abortion, the laws, the history, and where our country is headed. I believe in the sanctity of life, be it in the womb or on your deathbed. Oh, so he's probably it sounds like he's anti euthanasia as well.
Yeah, fuck these people's idea of sanctity.
This guy is a piece of garbage, in my opinion. That's my conviction. But with the film, I'll engage with those who disagree and hear their reasoning. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good
What is
for
sanctified
you.
about the life of a child that's born to a fucking drug addict and abused and unwanted and neglected every day of its life? What's sanctified about an old person losing their mind in their last years and literally just laying there hooked up to tubes?
Wasting away.
Wasting away.
Sacred, Paul.
What's sacred about that,
Well,
you
and what about-
fucking pieces of shit?
And what about taking people's right to determine what they do, what happens with their own body? In the case of an elderly person, they want to die, they have a terminal illness. Let them fucking go with dignity. The person that want to carry a
No.
child to term should be able to fucking make that decision.
No, that's a violation of the sanctity of life, Scotty.
Sanctity
so
of
basically,
life.
So basically, it's fuck whatever they want, and it's whatever this fucking moralizing asshole wants, based on a book of bullshit.
Well,
fuck him, he's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, suffering is like central to the Christian belief system. Central.
Oh my God, yes.
Suffering is supposed to be
Dude,
a
I'll tell
good
you what,
thing.
I'll tell you what. When I was at that museum, the Rijksmuseum, I think.
Oh, and the Netherlands?
The Netherlands. They had a ton of old Christian art there from like 12th, 13th, all these, early,
I mean, back
early
to-
America,
I think back to, like,
early
the 8th
European
century.
centuries and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like really old stuff. I don't remember seeing anything earlier than the 12th century, but I could be totally wrong on that. But a lot of old Christian art throughout like European history and shit. And every picture was just of misery and suffering, and everyone looks depressed, and it's just like the most miserable, sad art you could possibly imagine. Jesus is there hanging and is frowning, or these people are being persecuted. It's like just all about it. They love it.
And
They love to just revel in the suffering. They
And
would
remember-
they want to just rub suffering on their big fucking titties, man.
And do you remember, like, if they would show a pleasant scene, they'd be like, "These are the temptations of life you should ignore."
Yeah, it was
for the,
always
for the
like
reward of paradise.
Yeah, or they like they try to like basically like they try to basically like find the more like risque parts of the Bible so they could paint something that's a little bit like sexual or something, but they can get away with it because it's like, well, it's in the Bible.
Yeah, look, it's Lot and his daughters. I mean, it's in the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, no one said Lot's daughters didn't have big old titties. No one said that.
Yeah, that was weird to see some shit like that. You're like, whoa, okay.
I just don't. I'm just sick of hearing this anti-human perspective from people. I'm sick of them trying to cloak it in this like moral rectitude that doesn't exist. Because at the end of the day, you're in a cult that exemplifies human suffering as the way to be closest to God. Look at Mother Teresa, who's lauded as a saint by Christians and non-Christians alike. She was a horrible witch that like kept people locked up in horrible conditions and allowed them to suffer to death.
Yeah, and if
Get
you read
closer to
her
God.
if you read her private writings, it's obvious that she thought that their suffering was just beautiful and it brought them closer to Jesus and whatever the fuck else. And she gave them, even though she raised a tremendous amount of money from people, she pretty much used none of it on actual medicine.
It is a cult of suffering and death that basically deprives people of any sort of autonomy in favor of some morally fucking flawed book. You don't fucking... I mean, the Christianity has warped people's minds so much to think that this makes sense.
And it keeps people complacent. It's designed to keep people complacent in the face of adversity. The more injustice that's done to me, the closer to Christ I am.
I mean, it's exactly the same sort of lie as the one we just talked about in the previous story with the, if you work hard, you'll make it. It's just another thing like be content with less, be content with suffering, be content with misery.
And it's not only that, it's export that belief of misery and suffering to everybody.
Well, it's like, TJ, when you did Bad Help, you said it, Karl Marx said it, the opiate of the masses.
Yeah, this is just another opiate.
It really is, because it gives people a defined structure of like, I'm better than you, and this is the right way to do things, and I'm just 100% certain in my beliefs, and that's it. There's no room for even debate. I mean, obviously he's talking to other people, but come on, him talking to other people is just so it doesn't look like a fucking total shit show.
Yeah, so it's bullshit. All right, so this is another bullshit story. Netflix changes its view on views, which will boost its numbers by 35%. Let me tell you what this means. This means that
their numbers are down.
You used to have to watch... Well, Netflix has started being more public about its figures. So in order to boost their views, to make themselves look more impressive, now that they're doing this new transparency thing, they're changing what constitutes a view from you watched 75% of the 70% of the show. That used to be what a view was. Now it's 2 minutes.
I mean, 75% seems like a pretty fair
70%.
Oh,
70%.
70%.
I misspoke the first time.
70% seems like a pretty fair standard to say you got a view. 2 minutes? I mean, what?
2 minutes, basically, like,
It can autoplay for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've turned on shows and watched 2 minutes just to see if I was feeling it.
Right.
Right?
Lots of people do that.
I'll watch that 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, but like I'm saying, like 2 minutes that's not a view. Like that's like if someone clicks on one of my videos or our videos watches for 2 minutes and says fuck this and leaves, I'm not considering that like, oh, that's a fucking great fan of our show. That's a viewer.
Maybe YouTube will say
I don't know what YouTube says about it.
Well, maybe they'll say you got a view, but I mean at the same time it's not much of a view.
But I don't consider it a view. Like in my heart, is that a fucking view to me? No.
Sure. But
and
I mean,
this
in
is
your
I mean,
heart,
like,
I mean, obviously there has to be some
I don't
metric.
really I don't really give a fuck
There
what
has to be a
Netflix
metric.
does, but I mean like I think we all can agree though that it's much more fair to say 70% of something is a view as opposed to 2 minutes. Yes. We know that people watch something for 2 minutes just to decide if they want to watch it or not. Like 2 minutes of something, a show, a movie, whatever, that's not a fucking view.
Well, that's
a glance.
The VOD wars are in full effect now.
Oh yeah.
Netflix is being forced to compete in a marketplace that it dominated for a long fucking time.
Unopposed, essentially.
And most people aren't going to read contextual articles like this and find out why Netflix's views are up 35%. They're just going to take it as, oh wow, most people that watch this is growing. People are liking these new Netflix shows. I'm going to get Netflix myself. I mean,
it's an important to the public perception,
right.
Especially with competitors like Disney Plus. I mean, Disney Plus is such a fucking
Amazon Prime. I mean, like it's just the marketplace is ever more saturated with these companies that are trying to take a piece.
Apple is doing its own streaming shit now.
Yeah.
I mean, why
CBS
wouldn't they?
Is
because
doing streaming.
whoever,
a bunch of people are doing streaming
whoever
now.
comes out on top of that essentially is the next big cable company.
There's too many.
I mean, this is
it's like the Democratic fucking primary. It needs to narrow it down. Come on, we need some I mean, like I know everything's heading towards monopolies and shit anyway. So can we like experience the benefit of that and not have to be forced to choose between like 80 different streaming services?
Well, here's the bad thing about that. That's a horrible company, and they start raising the rates so high where people just don't want to pay it.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the flip side of like why competition can be good and why obviously if you had one place. But if you have a monopoly, then basically it's essentially this, TJ. There's one spot for you to get everything you want.
That's why I think we need like maybe 3 then. I don't know.
Yeah,
and there's also one voice in what gets made too.
That's what
there's
I'm saying.
Nobody trying to be iconoclastic anymore. Nobody trying to reach up and take a pot shot at the big guy.
I've already given up on that. That's just not happening. I don't see it happening now. So
I just think that like you're seeing the results of that kind of homogenization of the American entertainment market now. That's why we watch
Well,
these
thank
movies
God we have a
and we roll our
bastion.
eyes.
Thank God we have a bastion of uncompromised free speech like YouTube to be able to
That's
deliver
true.
our message on. Thank God for that. At
And I
least.
mean, and the movie industry has suffered the most. So this show here, The Witcher, a lot of people like this show. I mean,
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Well, TV really is the place where the good shit is being made. That's why so many people switch to shows from movies. 'Cause,
I've been
mean,
playing the game, The Witcher 3, I guess. Because, well, actually, I'll get into that in this. I think I got a story about this. Maybe I can just pull this up now. Yeah,
Okay.
this here. So, basically, because of this comment that Joe Biden made, I decided I was going to play a video game. Joe Biden calls developers little creeps who make titles that teach you how to kill.
That's what I always learned.
This dude was such a fucking prudish piece of shit that I'm like, I haven't even played a video game in 3 years, but I'm going to play something. So I basically
so out of touch.
I basically went online and I'm like, what? I want a game with swords and tits, and I gave a long description of what I wanted. And I'm like, does that exist? And they're like, play Witcher 3. So I'm playing Witcher 3 now.
Awesome.
And I gotta say, I might be too much of an old man to get into Witcher 3, because
oh, it's a fun game.
I mean,
dude.
back in my day,
I haven't played a ton of it, but it is a fun game.
it was like you had a button to jump, you had a button to fucking attack, and now it's like hold Alt and
Nah, you know what?
tap T and
TJ, you can
move the fucking mouse
can
wheel
play-
at 3 fucking clicks a second
You
or
can
whatever the fucking bullshit.
Dude, get an Xbox controller.
Yeah, people have been telling me that.
Dude,
People are like, use
I
a
have one.
controller then.
Yeah, that's what I always say to people that don't want to use the keyboard and mouse. Dude, TJ,
I think I just need to. I mean, it's a learning curve. I think I can
you
do
need
it.
to
but,
do
you know,
it. No, dude, it's good for your brain. It's good for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna
fucking
figure it out. But you know,
Leave your comfort zone, TJ.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Okay, good. I'm
saying.
You
I'm
I
just.
applaud you.
I'm just expressing the intergenerational difficulty that I'm experiencing.
He's been out of the game, TJ. You know what?
trying to play this, but. Anyway, this focus should not be on me playing the game. It should be on Joe Biden being a fucking moron, so go.
I mean, TJ, is this anything new? Is this anything new?
No, it's not new.
And you hear it on both sides of the aisle. Because I remember when Arnold was the governor of California. I'm like, Arnold's the governor. That's awesome. What a fucking joke. A movie star's governor of the state. But it was always the one issue with him. I'm like, he's a fucking total moron. When he's talking about video games, like, they're violent video games. They're bad for our children. It's like, what is this talk about? It's teaching people to kill. You play a Call of Duty, then you go out. I mean, come on.
Let's want to hear the full quote. And you may recall the criticism I got for meeting with the leaders in Silicon Valley when I was trying to work out an agreement dealing with them protecting intellectual property for artists in the United States of America. And at one point, one of the little creeps sitting around the table, who was a multi, close to a billionaire, who told me he was an artist because he was able to come up with games to teach you how to kill.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what was said.
Teach you how to kill people, Paul.
This is so stupid. This has been bandied about my entire life. There have been people saying that movies,
I remember this shit. I thought, I
music,
really...
video games.
Paul, I was so naive, Paul. I was so naive because I really thought this shit was dead in the 90s. I thought we resolved this.
Oh, no.
But I was wrong.
No, I mean, in a lot of ways, in the 90s, this type of criticism was at its fucking hottest.
Oh, it's peak.
Like, there were, just ridiculous claims being made by fucking moralizing Puritans that somehow it was
playing a work
See, the
of
great
fiction.
thing about this type of thing too is what you're talking about is kids that are violent, kids that engage in violent tendencies or whatever. And if you want the answer to that, you need to look at the socioeconomic status of their parents and just parenting in general, because that's what makes a violent child. If you have a child that is out there engaging in violence, it's because the parents failed at some level to teach that child right from wrong, or showed that child that violence
Or a realistic,
to be emulated.
Or a realistic view of the natural world where violence is pervasive.
Or or they were, doing drugs during pregnancy.
I mean,
or
yeah,
some shit.
obviously there's definitely the nurture argument, and I agree. There's a lot of validity to that, but it's like it's to ignore human nature. Like violence is just something, and it could exist outside of a vacuum, and then suddenly kids were introduced to video games, and then like violence everywhere. Has there been a massive uptick in violence that's been shown to be correlated?
It's actually been a fall in violent crime.
Yeah, in my understanding, when the Steven Pinker, they did a book about the better angels of our nature that showed that violence has gone down so much in the last 500 years, and it continues to fall.
I happen to think that having the catharsis of video games
It's an
actually
outlet.
helps. Is actually an outlet to help people deal with some of those fucking feelings.
Dude, games help a lot of people, and
Because you can act out a lot of that shit and take out a lot of that aggression. I mean, it's just like the same thing. It's like football used to be, but it's a lot safer than fucking football. I mean, I'm not saying there's no health risks with video games, because clearly there are some, but if you become like addicted and whatever the fuck else. But,
and that's becoming more and more prevalent, by the way.
Sure.
Of course.
But I mean,
games are being made to be more and more enticing to younger and younger people. Mm-hmm. So that is something that could be talked about. But this idea that somebody's playing Grand Theft Auto and then going out and being violent because they played the game,
like
it's just absurd.
And it's just like it's really like a generational warfare thing too. It's like they just like, like I'm smart enough to tell the difference between fantasy and reality, but these dumb kids out there, they just don't even know what's what, and they're crazy.
But Paul made a good point. The focus is so wrong. Joe Biden should be saying, well, I mean, if kids want to play video games, then whatever, that's a parenting decision. But what we should really look at is the impact of that on these children. And we can see, hey, more kids are becoming addicted. Obesity rates are going up. There's negative impacts of them doing this, so we need to study that and see how we can reverse those negative attributes of gaming, not just simply because, look, most kids now want to play fucking games. Gaming is beyond fucking mainstream. Almost every fucking kid I know is just games. And to ignore the social and cultural impacts of that is at our own fucking peril.
Another Joe Biden story. Joe Biden keeps bringing up Obama in South Carolina, and it's working.
Of course it is.
On the eve of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Joe Biden went to church in Barack Obama country. Seen in front, Biden was a newcomer here at the Bethlehem Baptist Church, but Reverend Anthony McCallum, an early endorser of Obama's in 2007, had already called him family. On Sunday, he told his congregation that he sees in Biden what he saw in Obama, to roaring cheers. Oh my God. How shameless is that?
Could you be any more full of shit? Look, Obama was a fucking... Whatever you want to think about Obama, he's illegal, he doesn't belong here, whatever. No one can deny Obama's got style and charisma, so, there's no way you can conflate Joe Biden's appeal with Obama's. I'm sorry, it's just fucking ludicrous.
It's just sad that there are this many people that still think that Barack Obama was on their side and fighting for their interests and shit.
Obama's reaping the benefits of whose side he was on.
Yeah, I mean, Obama is so beloved to this point that you can literally be a horrible candidate that totally sucks in every way, shape, and form.
And is not fit to even run.
And is clearly addled with early onset of dementia and shit. Who speaks in circles, who never even seems like he knows where he is half the fucking time.
You just invoke his name. That's all you got to do. You invoke the holy name of Obama.
But if you fucking say, I touched the hem of Obama's garment, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, he's the chosen one. It's obvious.
Yeah, well, it's funny, too, because
he will lead us to victory.
So many people will criticize Trump's mental state and then look at Biden and go, yep, it's my candidate. It's like, how can you possibly fucking do that? If you're being honest, you're talking about, you want honesty in politics, then you have to call Biden out for what he is. He's he's a few years away from Trump status and going, oh, where am I?
We invented the wheel. We invented the wheel.
We've all heard him speak. I mean, Joe Biden's strategy is survive. That's his only strategy in this campaign that I've seen thus far is speak as little as possible. I yield the balance of my time. how many times have we seen him do it in debates where he's under time?
An oyster fry in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I'm sorry, at an oyster fry in Orangeburg, South Carolina that same night. Biden would invoke Obama's name 13 times in a speech that lasted just shy of 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's pretty much an Obama every minute and a half.
Obama.
Just put up a big picture of Joe Biden and Obama hugging and go, vote for me.
Joe Biden, Obama. Obama, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. He's the white Obama.
It's garbage.
I see in him what I seen in Obama. Anyway, Hank Azaria said he will no longer be the voice of Apu on The Simpsons.
I'm just shocked that The Simpsons is still a thing.
Yeah,
it's insane now.
I sat down.
Still being made.
I sat down and I really contemplated when did I tune out of The Simpsons, and I really checked over episodes and my familiarity and all this other stuff. And when I started to feel it go bad and all this other stuff. And I thought, really, it went bad right around the turn of the fucking decade, millennia, really.
Yeah. Right around
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, that's because there started to be these
So that means we've literally
had
had 20 years of terrible fucking Simpsons.
Most people I've seen, we talked about this before, like, I said season 10 was kind of where I was like, and a lot of people said, maybe up to, I saw a lot of season 13, but you guys are right. That put it like early 2000s when people started just going, Simpsons kind of sucks, it's irrelevant.
Dude, in the very early 90s or late 80s, I had a Simpsons rap album.
Yeah.
That was released.
Fuck yeah, dude.
This has been
Bart Simpson had like a #1 hit song.
Yeah.
Or like it was, at least it charted. I don't remember if it was #1. I don't know.
Dude,
It was up there though.
I would
do the Bart man.
You didn't. No one wanted to miss the fucking Simpsons for that time period. Like, it was just so great. The show was on fire. Every episode was like, that's a classic. That's I fucking love it. It's hilarious. It's funny. And then it just slowly gets shifted away from that to just. I mean, it's just so derivative. It's so boring. It's ballless. It just feels like they're just redoing the same episode over and over again a lot of times.
Hank Azaria, who voiced Apu Nasahima Petalon, show's so iconic that I can actually pronounce that name. On The Simpsons for 30 years, said he will no longer be playing him, but it's unclear what will happen to the animated character who has for years been seen as a racist stereotype. By not that many people, by the way. I love this notion here. It's like, for years he's been seen as a racist stereotype. I mean, like, yeah, for a couple years after some people made a documentary and some other people were like, ooh, there's something we can feel morally superior about.
Comedy is
my life is empty enough that this is my issue right now.
Comedy is dead. If the standard for comedy is now, it has to please the most sensitive person in the room, because the most sensitive person in the room now in this country is the biggest fucking whiner on the goddamn planet. Like, how can you make it? Oh, this is racist. Oh, this offends this, or this makes a person who's disabled look bad. If that's the standard we're going to have to hold, that we just can't make fun of anybody for any reason, then...
I have Scottish ancestry.
Oh,
and,
the No True Scotsman, Paul, got to cancel that from the show.
Well, no, I have Scott. No, I'm saying they need to fucking figure out something about this Willie character I keep seeing on here.
Oh, yeah.
You seen how they depict us Scots?
Willie.
Yeah, this Groundskeeper Willie character on The Simpsons? Fucking terrible stereotype. It's horrible what they say about our people. I mean, I just can't believe it. I'm disgusted. It's racist. It's vile. He speaks in a very stereotypical Scottish accent. He's depicted as a drunken buffoon. It's horrible.
Well, I'm a clown, and I personally am hurt by the portrayal of Krusty the Clown as this megalomaniac and horrible villain because that's the opposite of the clowns that I know. So I personally,
yeah. Why even? You know what? Every Simpsons character is offensive. Because all of them are fucking like, I'm a big fat fucking nerdy slob who picks things apart like comic book guys. So fuck that depiction. Yep. It makes me feel bad about myself.
Toss it out.
Toss it out. My emotions matter more than your artistic fucking freedom.
Doesn't it shame a person of size as well to assume everyone who likes comic books is a cisgender white male who's overweight?
Yep. It's offensive in many ways, Scotty. Like everything.
I just think they need to cancel the entirety of The Simpsons. And
I mean, like, look, the show's... if the show was still relevant, I'd be more pissed than I am, I guess.
This show was basically on life support, and then now we're...
I haven't seriously watched it in 20 years, so I don't know how much of a right I have to complain about its artistic choices at this point.
The minute they did this, the minute they made this fucking retarded decision, the show flatlined. The show is dead. I mean, anything about the fucking creation of the show, anything about whatever the basis of starting the show was, and the comedic, like just having the memory of this show. Like the only reason we care about this is because The Simpsons used to be something great, and now it's something irrelevant.
Where's The Simpsons even fucking airing now?
I believe it's on
Disney
Fox.
Plus.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
Well, yeah, and it airs on Fox.
But
that's right, because Disney bought that part of Fox.
But the entire Simpsons back catalog is on Disney Plus.
I kind of want to watch like last week's episode of The Simpsons or whatever, just to see.
Don't do it. I've done it. Don't do it.
No, man, it's not funny.
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
Oh, Gigi, you know what I fucking watched last night?
What?
Oh, man. The Jay and Silent Bob reboot, man.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't fucking do it, guys.
I didn't see it, but don't do it.
Don't fucking do it. If you're curious, no, don't do it. Kevin Smith.
Don't do it.
I mean, look. Kevin Smith essentially made a fucking film that if you're just into the Smodcast, you just up Kevin Smith's asshole and you love Kevin Smith to death, you'll probably like the movie. If you're not that person, don't fucking see that movie.
That ain't me.
Yeah, if that ain't you, then I would not recommend it.
So I ain't seeing it. France apology after history textbook links CIA to 9/11.
I don't see what the problem is. What are they apologizing for?
Good point.
Telling the fucking truth.
Oh shit.
All right, let's. We don't really have time for that one, but we can just let Paul's quip stand. This is a dad tackling his son's wrestling opponent, caught on video. Let's take a look.
North Carolina man was arrested after getting too involved in his son's high school wrestling match. At one point, the wrestler in the gray uniform picks up the wrestler in the black uniform, slams him to the ground. The referee ruled the move was illegal and blew the whistle, but moments later, a man runs out and knocks the wrestler to the ground. It was the other boy's dad. The man was arrested, charged with assault and disorderly conduct.
Damn. He's coming in off the top turnbuckle.
Frightening moments for.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's. I can't believe they went through that report and they never compared it to actual,
It's Mr. Average. Oh my God, he's running in.
Sports entertainment,
It's the pissed off dad.
Oh, it's the mad dad with the chair shot. Oh my God, he took his head off.
I bet that was the most entertaining wrestling meet that's happened in a long fucking time.
It's probably the only one where a big, fat, angry dad just ran out of nowhere and tackled the opponent.
That's pretty awesome. It makes me wish I was at a wrestling meet, which, that's not something I'll say a whole lot.
Yeah, so, like, the purpose of, I understand that other guy did, like, an illegal move on your kid and everything, but that's why the ref is there.
Right.
Hardy's like, yeah, the move was illegal. You're going to be penalized. But the dad's like, nope, that penalty is insufficient. I must attack this other boy. So, I don't know. Funny video.
You know what, TJ?
What's that, Scotty?
Your fucking problem is you never
All right,
been a fucking father. No, TJ, go back.
No, hold on. Fuck that. We're already over schedule, but
fine.
Trying to get through everything here.
Fine, TJ.
So it's rush time. It's quick. It's lightning round. Check this out.
It's not lightning round, TJ.
It's lightning round. Check this out.
By having better hands guided by better.
All right. Well, hold on. I need to give a little context. This is in the
lightning round.
This is in the
lightning round.
This is in the
lightning round.
This is in the same room. This is in the
lightning
same round. This is in the same room, Scotty.
Lightning round. Lightning round.
All right.
Lightning round.
I'm gonna mute your mic. This is in the same room as Jeb Bush's "Please Clap" moment.
Okay.
By having better hands guided by better values on those pulleys and levers of American government. So can I look to you to spread that sense of hope to those that you know? Come on.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
By having better hands
Say it again.
guided
Please
by
clap.
better values on those pulleys and levers of American government. So can I look to you to spread that sense of hope to those that you know? Come on.
Please clap. Look at this bored dude in the fucking sweater vest right next to him.
The more I watch this clip, the less the "come on" is what gets me, but the desperate laugh afterwards.
Yeah, this is not a good moment.
I'm gonna watch it one more time. This time, focus on the laugh and just focus on his fucking face.
Or focus on the dude in the green sweater.
Yeah,
I think
if you've already focused on that, focus on the green sweater guy. Play, motherfucker.
Better hands guided by better values on those pulleys and levers of American government. So can I look to you to spread that sense of hope to those that you know? Come on.
Oh, man, dude. That was like a Snorlax level reaction, dude. Let me show you. Everybody focus on the green shirt guy.
By having...
Okay, I need to get a little sooner in there. To watch how slowly he comes around when this happens.
he's pissed that he has to expend the energy.
Come on.
Okay.
All right. Golf clap, I guess. Golf clap for this fucking idiot.
I can tell this is an event his wife dragged him to, dude.
I just want to go home.
Look at this other chick looking off to the side, like wistfully at the exit, dude.
Yeah, she's like, oh, man, I hope that snow cone place is still open when this is done.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go get a snow cone on the way home.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
All right, so this next thing we're going to look at, I want to give you a little bit of, no, fuck it, we'll go right into it. So, in a break with convention, the editorial board has chosen to endorse 2 separate Democratic candidates for president. This is the New York Times. So I just want you guys to fucking realize this. These motherfuckers think they're so important with this that their endorsement, it needs an opening paragraph with nothing else on the screen to commemorate the boldness of this decision.
Wow, what an
In
occasion.
breaking with convention, Paul. Fuck you, convention. The editorial board has chosen to endorse two separate. Let me tell you something, New York Times. Breaking with convention is a lot more impressive, A, when you don't pat yourself on the fucking back for it, and B, when the convention you're breaking with doesn't make sense and what you're doing does. But it's the opposite here.
Like
you're breaking your fucking hand patting yourself on the back, and endorsing two separate presidential candidates doesn't make fucking sense.
Nope, they can't both serve.
It doesn't make sense.
It does, TJ. They can both be president.
What kind of fucking farts are you sniffing to get you high enough to think that endorsing two different people to be president? You know what? Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren.
Wow.
Dude, even like
Amy Klobuchar.
I'm sorry.
And Elizabeth Warren. Sorry.
Elizabeth
I'm
Warren.
sorry. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
You can kind of at least make look like stately. Amy Klobuchar like looks like she has fucking Down syndrome or something.
It's just
this weak fucking bullshit smile she has plastered on her fucking face. Like this. Okay, not to mention that this endorsement makes no sense. Elizabeth Warren I can kind of get, but Klobuchar like she has no fucking chance.
Neither one of these people has a chance.
If Tulsi Gabbard wasn't in this race, they would have literally just said a woman president.
All the women.
Yeah, they would have just said women for a woman for president. Doesn't matter who. But because Tulsi's in the race and they don't like her, they got to be like, oh, Amy and Elizabeth. We love them. And if Kamala was still in it, her too. Her too. Woman of color. Wow.
What happened to the New York Times, man? What happened to the paper of record, TJ?
Went off the fucking reservation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Endorses two.
It went off the record.
All the news that's fit to print.
It gives you the most watered down endorsement in fucking goddamn U.S. history. Why don't they just endorse everyone? We endorse the Democratic Party.
Anyone but Barney.
Wow.
I'm not gonna trouble you with what they had to say. Let's just look at Bernie doing the interviews for the endorsement. There's a couple moments I like.
Which we knew Bernie wasn't gonna win the endorsement.
Yeah, I don't know why he even bothered showing up, but
I try to
hold on. Hold the fuck on. So here's him talking to the basically. Not only did they do this lame ass hedge their bet non-endorsement, but on top of that, they also turned the process whereby they came to the decision about who to endorse into a fucking
spectacle
reality show.
Great.
So we're there the stars, and here's Bernie on their fucking reality show. If it'll fucking play.
Play, you bastard.
I try to stay focused on the...
No. Go to the beginning of the clip. That's what I'd like. All right, I'm going to refresh the fucking...
Dude, is it literally like a rainy day and the blinds are open because they're interviewing Bernie?
Oh, my God.
It looks like it's snowing.
All right, it'll repeat, so whatever.
Dude, look at this
I'll
shit.
just play it from the end, I guess.
No, you won't.
I love this shit, dude. It's either like rain or sleet or something going
Media could not be
outside.
played,
Not my style.
Don't ignore this. We're not ready for this yet. Blah, 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 blah.
Working families in this
Nope.
country, and I fight for them.
All right, back to the beginning.
Look, I don't tolerate bullshit terribly well. And I come from a different background than a lot of other people who run the country. I'm not good at backslapping. I'm not good at pleasantries. If you have your birthday, I'm not going to call you up to congratulate you, so you love me and you write nice things about me. That's not what I do. Never have. And I take that as a little bit of a criticism, self-criticism. I've been amazed at how many people respond to, happy birthday, oh, Bernie.
Look at these people that are just like, what? He doesn't revere everybody's fucking birthday like it's the greatest thing that ever happened? Huh? Wide-eyed disbelief on the panel.
I mean, their faces are
stupid
just like...
faces so much.
Like, oh, okay, it's Bernie. Okay, yeah, that's nice.
Meh. Doesn't like my birthday, huh?
Just-
That's a negative. That's a check mark in the wrong direction. Here he is, another clip of this, where they ask him about Donald Trump.
Yeah, we're doing Clipception. This is TYT
Yeah.
covering a clip from the
This was the
Weekly.
best. This is the best one I could find of it on YouTube.
So we're Clipception
fact
here.
that
Clipception.
Trump has touched a chord in 40 to 44% of the people. What about that issue? It's like Trump is a symptom of a widespread problem.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do you address that?
What is the issue? How did Trump become president? Not everybody,
but tens and tens of millions of Americans feel that the political establishment, Republican and Democrat, have failed them. Maybe the New York Times has failed them too.
That explains the appeal of racism?
Yeah. People are, in many cases in this country, working longer hours for low wages. You are aware of the fact that an unprecedented...
Why does that woman look terrified?
She looks like she just hates everything that's coming out of his mouth. It's
Like
just
she's
not
literally
confirming
like
my bias at all.
She's leaning at an angle like against him, just like,
yeah.
I see.
My bias is not being confirmed? Oh, shocker.
way life expectancy is actually going down in America because of diseases of despair. People have lost hope, and they are drinking, they're doing drugs, they're committing suicide. And when that condition arises, whether it was the 1930s in Germany, then people are susceptible to the blame game, to say that it is the undocumented people in this country who are the cause of all of our problems. And if we just throw 10 million people out of the country, you're going to have a good job, and you're going to have good health care, and you have good education. That's all we got to do. So all over the world, Trump didn't invent demagoguery. It's an age-old weapon, and you take a minority, and you demonize that minority, and you blame that minority, and you take the despair and the anger and the frustration that people are feeling, and you say that's the cause of your problem.
So I can't imagine what problem a rational, sane person would have with this.
Probably the part where he said maybe the New York Times has some blame in this too.
No, not us.
Like,
I mean, I just look at the round. Like you just look at. I'm listening to very sane, rational words come out of a man's mouth, and then I'm seeing a room panning around to people who look like
incredulous.
They're being told the most insane. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Because he's speaking the truth to them. He's not just going with this boogeyman narrative that people are just inherently evil and bad. He's giving context to why people are lured into stupid positions like white nationalism and anti-immigrant sentiment. How politicians and companies use people's despair and find funnels for it. They keep them arguing amongst themselves over trivialities while they run out the back door with a big sack of money over their shoulder. Like, it's just the truth. The unvarnished fucking truth of the situation.
Yeah.
Everything is psychology. These people that were not just born like, yeah, I hate me some niggers. It's what I do. I hate them. I hate me some immigrants. They were taught to think that way by people that benefited from having them squabbling amongst other little subsects of their fucking society so they can continue to fucking milk them like a factory cow of all of their fucking joy and all of their fucking time. Like if your newspaper has people that have those incredulous looks on their faces when that level of truth is spoken to them, your newspaper has failed. It's time to burn the New York Times to the fucking ground because these people are out of touch with reality. They want to sell this fucking black and white narrative.
Trump man.
This
Amy
binary,
Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. By
this
the way.
false binary fucking narrative that just doesn't make sense. It just ignores human psychology. It ignores the truth, the economic truth behind a lot of the problems that they're discussing.
Paul, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren, though.
This is failure
And you know
personified on the front page of your fucking website.
You know what I'll tell you, too? They say, like, in this article, what they basically argue, when it comes to the part where they talk about Bernie and why they didn't endorse him. Here, let me just, I'll just find it. Fuck this. That's a testament to the effectiveness of the case that Bernie Sanders and Senator Warren have made.
No.
Yeah, they are making it together.
It's a
making
joke.
that case together.
They're constantly conflated as, oh, they're together on these issues. They're together.
So I know they mentioned him somewhere else in here. Here we go.
All throughout here.
Senator Sanders has spent 4 decades advocating revolutionary change for a nation whose politics often move with glacial slowness. A career spent adjacent to the Democratic Party, but not a part of it, has allowed him to level trenchant criticism of a political party that often caters more to rich donors than to the middle class. Many of his ideas that were once labeled radical, like paid family leave, a higher minimum wage, universal health care, and limits on military intervention, are now mainstream and may attract voters who helped elect Mr. Trump in 2016. Mr. Sanders would be 79 when he assumed office, and after an October heart attack, his health is a serious concern. Then there's how Mr. Sanders approaches politics. He boasts that compromise is anathema to him, Only his prescriptions can be the right ones, even though most are overly rigid, untested, and divisive. He promises that once in office, a groundswell of support will emerge to push through his agenda. 3 years into the Trump administration, we see little advantage to exchanging one over-promising, divisive figure in Washington for another. Good news, then, that Elizabeth Warren has emerged as a standard-bearer for the Democratic
Basically,
left.
a more palatable fucking goddamn politician that you guys can swallow. Oh, well, you know what? She's promising all those things, but she has no intention of delivering them. Or if she does deliver them, it's going to be in a way that we find acceptable.
Those two paragraphs, those two last large paragraphs that you read are totally at odds with one another. They're like expressing two different sentiments. The first paragraph is admitting that Senator Sanders was like behind a lot of the main populist fucking Democratic Party platform pieces.
Look,
now.
he set the tone, and his ideas were radical,
But
but
he's
now
too-
they're accepted.
He's
but
too divisive, though.
But
He's too rigid and too untested.
Yeah, the person whose plans everyone were is now aping, too divisive.
It's just ridiculous.
Wow.
It's just the media hates this guy because the media has become this giant fucking cash making machine, and he knows he's not their friend. He is not the friend of media conglomerate companies that want to have an ever bigger piece of the fucking pie, governing what you watch and what you hear and how you hear it and how you see it. And so they can't fucking, they have to pretend to be left-leaning while somehow not fucking supporting the biggest populist to come along on the left since I don't remember when.
Yeah, they excoriate him in the media constantly. The media bias against Bernie is just, it's par for the course. Every article, nearly almost every article I read about Bernie Sanders is just somehow the people that support him are bad, they're evil, they don't care, they're doing horrible shit.
And their best fucking idea for America is Amy Klobuchar?
Yeah,
What?
That's the
Elizabeth
savior.
Warren.
Klobuchar and Warren.
Basically, someone who adopted a lot of Bernie's positions for political expediency, who's shown herself to be nothing more than a political fucking maneuverist. I mean, everything with her is just about how can she attain more and more power. She's so reminiscent
Just
of
a
Hillary
status
Clinton.
quo pseudo-leftist. Yeah. Just a status quo center-right pseudo-leftist that's going to let them continue to fucking rake in money hand over fist.
I view it as completely fraudulent. Now, this has been a very long one. We had a lot of stories today, so I thought we'd end with a little palate cleancer.
Oh, we need it. We need
There
a
is
palate cleanser.
this is a clip from Judge Judy. There's no sound. We can just kind of look at it. But this is maybe there is some sound. I don't know. We'll see. Last time I watched it, there wasn't, but I think I might have had it muted. We'll see. But there's a dispute about whose dog this is. That's what's going on here. No, there's no sound. So there's a court dispute going on over the ownership of this dog between these two people here.
It's like a miniature poodle or something? Or?
Yeah, it looks like it's a Maltese or a poodle or something like that. So Judge Judy says, put the dog down.
Put the dog down.
And he goes straight to the guy that wants to get him.
And this bitch over here, she's like, oh, he does that to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, he does that to... Judge Judy's like, fuck you, bitch.
I mean,
I think it's pretty clear who that dog likes.
Okay, now put him down.
He does it to everybody.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Why you walk past
Case over.
the whole courtroom.
Yeah, she doesn't even say like.
She's like, fuck off.
Just obvious.
The dog.
I love it.
Even look. Go back there. Look. How's the dog looking at him? Pure happiness. The dog.
Oh yeah, it won't stop
even
once it realizes he's in the room.
Even in her arms, it's like
it sees him and it's like,
shit.
oh god, it's Dad. Give that, you evil bitch. Give that man his fucking dog back.
What a cunt, dude.
You know what's fucked up? Probably the only reason he got that dog back is because she got $5,000 to be on that show.
Well.
Yep. And a trip to
Good
LA.
for her, I guess. I guess sometimes being a scumbag pays. But yeah, that's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next week.
See ya.